Hello everyone, and peace of Christ all of you. Please invite your friends and let us have some good time together. You know, I'm not here for like almost 2 days and a half, maybe something like that. And there is a reason for that. You know, the last discussion we have, it was about very heavy duty topic. It was involved gas and methanol and a lot of heavy duty, knowledge, which only prophets of God, they have a grasp of it. And take a note about the word grasp. So last time, I don't know if you watched the video or not, go watch it. It's just a previous video. It was a Muslim. He was trying to explain to us why shaitan he fart when Muslims they pray, and why shaitan he blew wind in the anus of Muslims when they pray. He refused to answer about why shaitan take hair from their anus when they pray. And he refused to tell me if he experienced any of those experience. Like we ask Christians to talk about testimony of their life with Jesus. A Muslim, we ask him, tell us your testimony about shaitan taking hair from your anus. Interesting. So Islam is a very special religion. It's very special. And this is brother Dr. Zakir. Sometimes I find, as one of you asked me how you choose topic. Honestly, and I don't choose topic. Topic choose me. I open my YouTube, just click YouTube, and then whatever YouTube suggests to me, I take a topic from there. So I saw this one. Actually, I saw one before it, but then I saw this one next in the, I said, no, man, this is better. Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, is like a kind of a chemical stuff, was sent as a messenger not only to the Muslims. Hey Muslims, I thought there was no Muslims in the time of Muhammad. So what do you mean he was sent to the Muslims? I mean, the same video says that Muhammad is the only messenger who was sent to all mankind, not the title is there actually, it says not only to the Arab too. But now he's saying, and this is his, look, this is his. This is their smartest, this is the smartest one of them. So Prophet Muhammad, PPUH, was sent as a messenger, not only, actually, you know what, I cannot read it this way, sorry. I mean, we have to read it in a very accurate way. Brother Sister, Prophet Muhammad was not sent to messenger, not only to Muslim, but he was sent not only to the Arab, but he said also to the humanity. Oh, okay, sorry, the translation. So Prophet of Allah was not sent only to the Muslims, but there was no Muslims. So he was sent to the Muslims. Oh boy. Anyway, so today we will discuss what the Muslim repeat for us, or the Muhammadan, maybe this is a better name to call them Muhammadan, when they say that Muhammad was sent to all mankind. Who as a Muslim would like to call us? And he is the, not only that, if you go in the video, actually, look, the Quran you can say it. Allah Prophet, he said there were 124,000 messengers. Look, 124,000 messengers sent on the face of the earth. Musnad Ahmed, volume number 5, page number 266, hadith number 22388. 124,000 messengers. Hey Muslims, who can count for us just 50 of them? How come nobody heard of those 124,000 messengers? Any Muslims? Is Muhammad making things up? And then the same, the Quran, I'm trying not to play the video because, we don't want them to, claim copyright over it. But we activated, let us see, activate subtitle. Subtitle caption is not available, sadly. So, and he said, but all of those messengers, their books is gone, brother. And here we now ask ourselves, the Muslim, they say that Allah is God. And then this God, he sent 124,000 messenger, and each one of them, he have a book. And then Allah could not save one of those books. And then at the end of the time, Allah, he said to himself, you know what? Those people, they keep screwing with me, and they give me a screwdriver each time I give them a book, and they change it. So now I decide to keep the Quran and preserve it. And then we will open the Muslim books itself, including the Quran. We will find the Quran admit that the Quran is not the same Quran as Muslims they claim. As an example, if we go in the Quran, the yellow page of Muhammad, we will see the following. Not only the Quran is corrupted, Allah himself, he caused Muslims forget the Quran. So how the preservation work? How it is preserved? If a Muslim will say it's preserved by Allah, that would be more stupid, because I'm assuming that Allah, he have a copy for every book he sent before. Don't he have a copy? So this is the Quran, Allah chapter, I don't know if there's any Hindu here. You will like this chapter of the cow. Whatever a verse, revelation, do we abrogate or cause to be forgotten? Who is the one who is causing to be forgotten? Allah. We bring a better one or similar. And here you see the stupidity of this verse. This is what Muhammad, he did, you know, when he tried to cover his bum, for he keep forgetting verses, he cannot recite them twice correctly. So he came with this excuse, says, oh, you know what? Whatever Allah caused me to forget, Allah will bring me something better or similar. Which is very funny. Like, imagine I say to you, and I'm prophet of Allah, sent by the God of the falafel, Allah, and I said to you in the morning, eat falafel with ketchup and forget about everyone. And then I said to you, forget about it. I forgot it. So you ask me to repeat again. I say ketchup with falafel and eat everyone. Oh, prophet of Allah, you did not say that in the morning. You said something different. Oh, Allah, he made me forget. Hold on. Don't worry. Allah will give me something better and similar. And now Allah, he come afternoon and he give me something better. Eat hamburger with ketchup and French fries. Isn't it stupid even to say that this book is preserved, and then the same book saying that Allah will cause you to forget the Quran? And what make it more stupid, Allah will make Quran similar to the Quran he caused you to forget it. So why he caused you to forget it? If it's going to be similar anyway. You know what I mean? If it is similar, I mean, why you made me forget the Quran? What the point? Obviously, it's a scam, you know. The guy, he cannot repeat the same verse twice. And then I cause you to forget Quran because I want to give you something better or similar. So now we have two choices. Either it is better or similar. But here you ask yourself, how Allah will make Quran better than the Quran? So who is the one who caused us to forget it? Allah. And now Allah, he caused you to forget it in order to do what? To bring something better or similar. And those Abdul, they keep saying to us the Quran is preserved, when the same book says the Quran never been preserved. Not only that, you know, when the Muslim, they say that all the books came before Islam, sent by Allah, and they claim even Jesus was sent by Allah, which is absolutely false. You know, in order for Jesus to be sent by Allah, he have to be pervert, and he have to be a child molester, a thief, a criminal, zero ethic, because this is the ethic of Allah, like a Muhammad. As an example, Muhammad, he was walking with his friend Jabir, and he said to him, Jabir, did you marry, Jabir? Like, you sound like you are rushed to go home. What's up, man? What's up? You know, filthy. So Jabir, he said to him, yes, Prophet. So Muhammad, he said, did you marry a little young girl or a growing woman? She's not a virgin. Jabir, he said to him, no, Prophet. I married a growing woman. The Prophet of Allah, he said to him, why? Why? Why, for the sake of, what her name? This woman, crazy woman, thank God we don't see her no more. Nancy Pelosi. Why? Why you don't marry a little young girl so she can sport with you? You know, if you read books about child molesters, they favor children because they have mental illness and they like to sport with them. They get amused by them and they can amuse them. You know, they have a mental issue. It's a mental issue. It's a mental illness. So as you see, this is a very authentic hadith. So Muhammad is putting his nose between the legs of that woman, speaking about if her vagina, if she is a virgin or not, and now speaking about her age. Why you don't go and get someone she is little? Jabir, he have better ethic than Muhammad, so he said to him, I preferred to have someone, a grown woman. You know, I have you know, my father, he died and he left me 7 or 8 daughters. The guy don't even remember. So I prefer not to bring them a girl, which means she is little, like them. They are orphans, remember. But to bring them a woman. Do you see it? So Muhammad is advising his companions to go for children, to have sex with them, and not to marry women. Here actually you see two sides of an ugly Muhammad. First, the guy is not complaining, right? Imagine somebody, he go to your son-in-law and tell him, why you marry your daughter? Why her? Why you don't go and get someone younger? Huh? What's wrong with you? Don't you think this is the devil? This is an evil man? I mean, the guy is not even saying anything about his marriage. Is not actually, he is excited to go home. And now Muhammad is acting as a messenger of Allah, giving you the good ethic, as you see in the front of you. And what is the reason he wants him to marry a little child? So she can sport with you and you sport with her, and she can amuse you and you amuse her. Can you believe it? Is that the reason to marry children's? So, you know, the Muslims, when they speak about Jesus being a Muslim, they are insulting you and insulting Jesus, and this is what the devil does. You know, they are trying to lower Jesus from the most holy to the most filthy. You know, this is the whole point. In the same time, when the Muslim they speak about the preservation of the Quran, not only the Quran confirm the Quran never been preserved, even the Hadith confirm that there is a lot of things is not exist in the Quran and nobody can recite it for us. As an example, who is a Muslim can recite for me the chapter of a breastfeeding for adult? Huh? Aisha said, what was sent down in the Quran is 10 known suckling, made marriage unlawful. By the way, those they don't make marriage unlawful. And you know, by the way, the funny thing about Islam, they say to you adoption is haram, but then you let somebody suck the breast of a woman, he became her son. That's so stupid, isn't it? Adoption is forbidden. But if they use it for in two direction, if for a child or for adult. What we are talking about here is for adult. And no, it does not. You can go right search now. Says, do women breastfeeding for adult make the man forbidden for her? They will answer no. Only if it is a child is under the age of 2 years. So the stupid Quran here in the story in front of us, coming with the new funny stupid thing, like if somebody suck the breast of somebody, but in the same book it says it's forbidden for you to do adoption. So how we cannot do adoption? It's against Allah. It is a pagan practice, and now we are adopting just by giving some milk. Isn't it this adoption? So this is another stupid thing. But the important for us, where we can find the 5-time suckling and 10-time suckling. Any Muslim can show us the verses? Any Muslim can show us where we can find. You see, Muslim, we keep saying that the Quran is preserved, and by the way, we did not go out of the topic. We will go back to Muhammad sent all to all mankind, because that is a hilarious topic too. But as you see, Muslims cannot recite for us the verses which is confirmed to be in the Quran. And what kind of God he will send 10-time breastfeeding for adult order? It says here, it was sent down in the Quran, was 10 known suckling made marriage unlawful. Okay, where is the 10? The Muslim, they will say it is abrogated by recitation and by ruling. Who is the one who abrogated? Any Muslim can tell us? Who is the one who abrogated those verses? You see, this religion, there is a video of Zuzu Nakura. He was saying to a woman, her name I think Mary, he said to her, I said to you, give me one verse in the Bible. Jesus said, I'm God worship me. And then this girl, she said to him, John chapter 1. He said to her, first of all, I said to you, this is the Christ himself. You are giving me apostle John. But you see, the Muslims, they take Muhammad as apostle, and whatever he said, they take him for granted from Allah. So how come if we quote for you what John said, and he is the apostle of God, which means the apostle of Jesus, how come you don't accept him, but you accept Muhammad? He is just an apostle of Allah. Do you see the hypocrisy, guys? Do you see why they don't dare to debate us? So when they want, they accept the apostle of Allah to say anything. All what you see in front of you actually is coming from one man. There's no witnesses. There's no Allah. And we can prove that this Allah never exists. Allah is just an ancient, previous pagan God. Muhammad, he just hijacked, as many things. He hijacked Christianity, Judaism, anything, anything come his way. Alexander the Great, he made him a Muslim. Al-Khadr, a story in Gilgamesh book, made him a Muslim. The 7 sleepers, even the ant is a Muslim. So when those Abdul, they speak about this, and not only that, they say to you, well, you know what? Even Jesus, he said in Matthew chapter 5, don't go to anyone except the children of Israel. Jesus at that time, he's saying to them, like, you go right now. Jesus was sent to the Jews. Who is the one is waiting for him? The Jews. If the Messiah, he went to people who they are not the Jews, and he say, I'm the Messiah, they will say, huh? You know what I mean? So the Messiah is a name only Jewish people waiting for, and nobody even know what is the Messiah. That's why Jesus says, I came for the people of Israel, and my people, they rejected me. And this is why in Matthew, the same, I mean, this guy is just an idiot. In the same book, it says, I have other sheep in the other, other fold. And if you go actually to John, I think, sorry, Matthew 28. Yeah, the same book he is reading from, Matthew 28, it says, go and teach and preach all, all the word, So when the Muslim, they speak about Muhammad was sent for all mankind, who is a Muslim, he can stand the ground of the claim and call me, and he guarantee that he will not make his prophet a mockery based on what you Muslim you say. Do we have any Muhammadan? He can support the claim of Zakir Naik that Muhammad was sent to all mankind using just your books. I'm not going to use any book. Anyone? Any Muslim? Any Muhammadan? Nobody would like to volunteer? Well, let me do this then. I will search Prophet Muhammad was sent only to mankind and see an article about it. The only one to all mankind. I hate it when I type in Arabic and then I'm supposed to type in English, but sometimes Google correct me. I found an article. Proof. You know, I love it when the Muslim, by the way, they use the word proof. It's like a waterproof thing for somebody. He is poo-poo, is all over the place. Proves that Messenger of Allah was sent to all mankind. Okay, what is the proof? Allah the Exalted, He said. And who is the one who said that? Muhammad. So Muhammad, you don't have witnesses for what Allah says, but that's it. Allah said, okay. Say, O Muhammad, O mankind, verily I am sent to you all as a messenger of Allah, to whom belong the domain of the heaven and the earth. Okay, let us go to chapter 7, verse 158, and let us try not to laugh. Muslims, I'm just following your proofs. Don't blame me. Okay, chapter 7. Let us go down. Faster, faster. Okay. So Muhammad was sent to all mankind. Remember that? All right. Yeah. Again. Try not to laugh. Actually, the whole topic is about try not to laugh, right? Isn't it? Yeah, we're trying not to laugh. I mean, I have many browsers open. Which one I was opening? Here we go. Okay. You know, when we read the Quran, and the Muslim is the one who says to us, read the Quran carefully and don't misquote and don't don't give your own interpretation. But look at this. Chapter 7, verse 157 says, those who follow the messenger, the prophet, who can neither read or write. This is the Muslim translation. I.e. Muhammad. Thank you for telling us. I thought maybe this is Joe Biden. Whom they find written in their book, you know, in the Torah and the Injil, to order them so that Muhammad, you know, he can be found in the Torah. Okay. Here you notice the stupidity. How Jesus was sent and how Moses was sent to the Jews. And Moses and Jesus, they are saying to their people, you are, you know, there's a guy will come to you, his name is Muhammad. Because if you think about it, the Quran says clearly that the children of Israel, they will have messengers only from the children of Israel. If you go in the same Quran, you see, we are not changing the book. This is the Quran, chapter 29, verse number 27. It says, and we gave Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and ordained among his progeny prophethood and revelation. The translation is false. Why? Because in Arabic it says, وَجَعَلْنَا فِي ذُرِّيَّتِهِ النُّبُوَّةَ وَالْكِتَابِ. Not we made in his progeny, in the progeny, the prophethood and the revelation, not just his. So the Quran make it clear that all messengers of Allah who claim now he is the God of Abraham, according to Muhammad, they have to come from Isaac and Jacob. So how the Jews, they will be waiting for a messenger he is not from Isaac and Jacob, when the Quran says we made all the messengers, all the prophets from Isaac and Jacob? Do we have any Muhammadan want to say anything? Do you see how easy? We are not using different book. I mean, this is the same silly, stupid, silly book. Same time here. In the video of Zuzu Nakura, he said, only Muhammad, and you can watch it, I'm just not playing it, avoiding, because they flag our videos for copyright. Cowards. Only Muhammad is the prophet of Allah, sent for all mankind. But isn't it the Quran says that Allah he sent Abraham for all mankind specifically? Or I'm making things up, Muslims? Any Muhammadan? Isn't it the same book says? I mean, how many times we heard Muslim keep saying that Allah, only prophet of Allah, Muhammad, was sent to all mankind. Only him, brother and sisters. Okay. So what is in front of us here? What we would do now? I mean, this chapter here, by the way, is very funny chapter. If you wanna think to read it. Yeah, no, not chapter of An-Naml. I clicked by mistake. The chapter of the ants is not what I want. I want the chapter of a Hajj. Yeah. So in the chapter of the Hajj, the pilgrimage. All right. You go down here, you will find something very funny and very stupid. And this is Quran. Allah speaking to Abraham, giving him order to do the following. Behold, we gave the site to Abraham, between two brackets, of the sacred house. Okay? There's no sakar, it says of the house. Saying to him, associate nothing, which means with Allah, and sanctify my house. Who compass around it, or stand up, or bow and prostrate themselves therein. And then, and proclaim Hajj among men. See a translation here, it says men. If you change the translator, you will see it's going to come to mankind. An-nas, which means all people. Do you see it? So how Muhammad is the only one was sent to all mankind, and now we are seeing that there was somebody long before him. His name is Abraham, is the one who sent to all mankind. Are you with me? Do you see how stupid the every Muslim he repeat the same? You will not find a single Muslim don't say the same thing. That only Muhammad was sent all mankind. Only Muhammad was sent to all mankind. Every single Muhammadan, every Abdul, with beard, without beard, all of them, they are copy paste because nobody want to use his brain. Islam is a religion of stupidity. The one who wrote the Quran is an idiot. Nobody knows what he was drinking. So now we find that Abraham was being given a command, a clear command from Allah to proclaim, In different chapter in the Quran, even the Quran says that Abraham, Imam, he's an Imam for mankind. Imam mean the leader of all, you know, like he is the leader of all prophets. Imam is the one who lead, you know, the one like you see that Muslim, they say, I pray behind the Imam, right? So he pray behind the Imam. So what is the duty of Ibrahim? Is the leader of our prophet. He is the Imam of all prophets. And you know, this is not my interpretation. We can go and right now, you know, we can open Islamic interpretation and we can read it. If you go in the same funny book, it says the following. Hold on, maybe somebody is trying to contact us. Maybe we got a Muslim. Let us see. Hello? Hello? Why your voice is so low, my friend? People are asleep?
Yes.
Okay, what do you want to say to us? Go ahead. Did you hear our topic?
No, just call in now.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe you should listen to my topic a little bit so you can get you get yourself together and you answer me. We are talking about, is Muhammad sent to all messengers? I mean, he's the only one sent to all mankind? Or there's many other messengers in Islam? What do you think?
I believe for the last messengers.
He's the last messenger. You know, the supply house of Allah, there's no more messenger. That's it. He is the last messenger. Okay, why it says, who said that he is the last messenger?
I didn't say last messenger. I said for the last messengers, Muhammad was only one that was sent to humanity.
So he is not the last messenger.
His last prophet.
Oh, he last prophet. Does it make any difference?
Yes.
So how Allah he make him a messenger without making him prophet?
Yes. If you come any messenger, if you go to chapter 3, verse 81, anybody comes is a messenger.
But this guy is coming from Allah, isn't it?
Prophet bring book, messenger just come to confirm the previous scripture.
Oh, okay. Okay, I will let it go because your prophet did not bring a book. But let us go to our topic. So Muhammad is a messenger and a prophet, and he was sent to all mankind. How you Muslim you support that he was sent to all mankind?
Yes, first of all, you're not gonna see in the Bible where Jesus say, "Ya bani Adam." Nowhere. Oh, children of Adam. It's not in the Bible. Moses didn't say it. Jesus didn't say it. They said, Ya bani Israel.
Okay.
Muhammad said, Ya bani Adam.
Yeah. So he said, Ya bani Adam. That make it different now.
Yes, he's sent to the world to all the Gentiles.
Okay. So how the Quran says we never send the messenger except in the tongue of his people?
Yes, he's receiving people. If you're American, you gotta be sent to the world. First, you gotta send in your language in America. Doesn't mean that you can go to the other world. Yes, go to all over the place.
No, but it says here, we never send the messenger except in the tongue of his people, right? Yes, so they might understand, correct?
The people that he is from now.
Yeah,
Yes.
your voice is coming to normal now, and then I will recognize who you are. So you better change your voice again.
What
Your voice is changing.
is it?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't.
No, it's
Why
okay.
is it?
It's okay. So it says here, I will go with you, no problem who you are. Chapter 14, verse number 4, it says, we never send a messenger except in the tongue of his own people so they might understand. So how Muhammad is sent to you, and you don't speak Arabic?
A little bit.
No, this is not a question. How Allah he sent Muhammad to you, and when the Quran said, I never send a messenger except in the tongue of his people so they might understand.
Yeah. Simple as that.
As what?
If like I told you, if you being sent, if you are from Sri Lanka,
Where are you from?
I'm from
Ghana?
Galsen.
Galsine?
Yes.
What is that?
You're probably ignorant about the world. Do you know how many countries in the world?
No,
Have you
but
idea?
I'm telling you, just why I'm asking you, my friend. You are the one who knows. What is that?
Galsen is a country.
Okay. So do your people speak the language of the Quran?
No, that's why I said, can I explain, please?
Okay.
Okay. So Muhammad, if you're from Sri Lanka, or if you're from Indonesia, or you're from Japan, or if you are being sent to the world, God is making sure that the first people that you go to, you was born and raised in there, they see you growing up, they see you, they know you, you are among them.
What does have to do with my question? How you will understand the Quran if you don't speak the language of the Quran? The Quran says, we never send a messenger except in the tongue of his own people, so they might understand. So the Quran make it clear what is the reason to send it in the tongue of the people, because if not, they will not understand. So the question again, how your country is called Glacia, how your people will understand the Quran without knowing.
Galsen.
Yeah, how your people will understand, whatever the name, how your people will understand if the Quran says, if you don't speak the language, you cannot understand.
Okay, if you would have put that verse with the verse 41, 44.
No. Don't change the topic. You know, are you trying to escape what Allah said?
Allah said in a different verse.
No problem.
If the Quran would have been revealed in a language other than the Arabic, Arabs would have said, why is it revealed in this language? Why? Allah said, listen to the answer now. Allah, whether it is in Arabic or not Arabic, to the Arabs, it doesn't matter. If you believe, you will understand. The language does not matter.
This is why you told me before that you can understand the Quran without knowing Arabic, correct?
Ar-Rahman allama al-Quran.
No. How isn't it you who told me before you can understand the Quran without knowing Arabic?
I don't think I told you that before, but yeah.
Okay. So you are saying you can understand the Quran even if you do not know Arabic. How?
You can understand the Quran in English.
No. Allah did not send it in English. Did Allah translate the Quran to English?
We gotta render it.
Okay. No. You see, chapter 12, verse number 2 says, we send the Quran so you might understand in Arabic.
Yes, for the Arabs, but for non-Arabs.
No. It doesn't say any. Okay. You see, I will go with you. Actually, you are making it more hard for you now because you are saying to the Arab. That means the Quran was not sent to non-Arab. So we send the Quran in Arabic in order you might understand. So if Allah, he sent it to the Arab in Arabic so they might understand. So how you, who do not know Arabic, you will understand the Quran, which even the Arab don't understand.
Yeah, I'm just, now I'm going to be tired of, doing some language thing.
Yeah, just shut up. Ultimate fart. Keep it changing your voice. I will keep you just for the sake of. He forgot himself again. I told him, don't change. Your voice is changing. Then I will recognize you, you idiot. So we sent the Quran, and the stupid, he said to me, he never said that to me. I said to him, how you understand the Quran if you don't speak Arabic? He said, I do not need to understand Arabic. You're stupid. You are asleep. They are asleep. You know, you are speaking from your. We send the Quran in Arabic, so in order to understand. And until now, no Muslim who speak Arabic can understand the Quran because it is a stupid book. Find me the same potato. If I say to him, let us read the interpretation, he will say, I don't agree with it. If I say Ibn Kathir, he said, I don't agree with it. If I say Al-Qurtubi, he say I don't agree with it. So how the Quran is clear for the Arab now, and you are not the Arab, but you don't accept the Arab interpretation? You see, guys, how stupid this religion is. But anyway, it was fun to have you, Ultimate Fart. I gave you a chance, but you're just a kid. You never change. But at least this time he did not use the F word yet. You know. Yeah. Usually he right away he starts using the filthy language. Let us see different Mohammedan. Hello? Hello? Here we go. The same girl, Ultimate Fart. So, you know, Muhammad was sent to all mankind. The only prophet was sent to all mankind. And then, what is the name of the book of Jesus? Injil. How he was sent only to the Jews and his book is in Greek? Who is the stupid here? And how the Quran says we made the prophethood from Isaac and Jacob and from their children's. You will notice here in the verse, either Muhammad, he is stupid, or he is being smart. Choose one, Muslims. He chosen carefully not to mention Ishmael and his children's. He chosen Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He dropped Ishmael. Now the Muslim, they will say later he mentioned it. But the Quran confirms that Allah, he favored the children of Israel, of all mankind. Chapter 2, verse number 47. You know, we hear always the Mohammedan, they say that the Zionist is a racist, is an evil. This is the Quran. This is not the Bible saying that those are the chosen people of God. This is the Quran saying that the children of Israel are the chosen people of God. And not only they are chosen people, they are being favored upon all mankind and even genie. Even genies. Do you see it in front of you? O children of Israel. And this is in the time of Muhammad, not after, not before. In the time of Muhammad, Allah reminding the Jews says, you've been favored. Remember my favor upon you. I preferred you, speaking to living people at that time, not to the dead Jews. The people who live in the time of Muhammad, they are the most favorite people to Allah. So where is the Arab? And where is Muhammad? And where is the children of Ishmael? And why Allah did not favor the children of Ishmael if Muhammad is claiming to be from Ishmael? Any Muslim can answer? So when Zakir and Yuka, he said that the only prophet who was sent to all mankind is Muhammad, this is a mockery Because Muhammad cannot be sent to all mankind for a very simple reason. The Quran contradicts that. The Quran says we send it in Arabic in order to understand, which means if it's not in Arabic, you cannot understand. Now let us go stop with the Arabic thing. Did the Muhammadan understand the Quran in Arabic? Did you read the book of 250 signs about Imam Mahdi? My friend, the Imam Mahdi is a fiction story, does not exist. This guy did not even know who is he. They don't even know how he's born. Some they say he born from his mother's thigh, because he will not get from her. He will not come from her vagina. Come on, this is the Mahdi. The Mahdi, if he fell down in his butt, he never cry. He laugh and he say takbir. So all those stories about Mahdi is a fiction stories. When the Muslims they occupy other lands, and there is many Christians, they've been forced into Islam, and they used to have a spiritual life, etc. So they try to find a solution, someone we can worship, someone we can say he is something we are waiting for. So many of those stories are fabricated, and the Mahdi is nothing but, let us say, another fiction name, you know, like a replacement of Christ, just replacement. But there's no Mahdi. What Mahdi? Even the name is funny. And now the Muslim, they believe that he went in the cave, and all those thousands of years he's in the cave. Anyway, those are fiction stories, and the stupid ones, they believe anything just to create now a story that Joe Biden, he been taken to God and he will come back after 10,000 years. Trust me, you can create a new sect. It's called the Biden sect. There's always people who they are dumb, stupid, they believe anything. Always. So here it says in front of you, verily we have sent down the Quran in Arabic in order to understand, not for any reason except to understand. Now, if you go to different verses in the Quran, you will notice that the Quran mention the Arabic in many places. In chapter 26, verse number 195, it says, we send it in a clear Arabic. And this is another problem in the Quran, because not a single word in the Quran can we be considered as Arabic. As an example, the word Quran itself is not an Arabic word. There's nothing in Arabic called Quran. Nothing. I mean, how in the world this word came to exist? So we made it a clear Arabic. Okay, what is the name of the angel of Allah? Jibreel. Okay, can't you give us an Arabic name for Jibreel? Why his name have nothing to do with the Arab? What is the name of Abraham? What Abraham mean? So we send the Quran in Arabic language, clean. Then we find that the word Bustan is not Arabic. The word Jannah is not Arabic. The word Jahannam is not Arabic. The word genie is not Arabic. The word, every word is not Arabic. Tabut, qalam, all. I mean, the whole Quran is messed up. There's no Arabic. There is no Arabic in the Arabic. But remember, we made it in a clear Arabic. Like if you ask the Muhammadan now, what chapter 36, verse number 1, as an example, what does that mean? Allah knows best. I thought this is a clear Arabic. Isn't it? This is a clear Arabic, but you will see, like, look at this tafsir here. Al-Jalalain says, Yasin. Okay, God knows best what he mean by those letters, but remember, we made it in clear Arabic. Then you change the interpretation, you will find another, this guy is giving you the answer from other galaxy, and he is giving us the true little hint about the truth. This is nothing to do with the Arabic. This is Aramaic. Read it. From the narration of the authority of Ibn Abbas, which is the cousin of Muhammad, he said, upon the interpretation of Allah saying the Creator glorified the mention Yasin, he says Yasin, O human being, in the Syriac language. By the way, this is false. There is no such a thing in the Syriac language. But now you get a hint that even this is the guy who witnessed Muhammad. He was young in the time of Muhammad, but he spoke to Muhammad, he lived with Muhammad, he is the cousin of Muhammad. So, and Muhammad, he called him, he prayed to Allah to make him the one who can explain Islam to the Muslims. Pray to Allah to be the scholar of the nation. So when the biggest scholar of Islam says this is Syriac language, so why the Quran saying this is a clear, plain Arabic? What is the Syriac is doing here? Remember, the Quran says, we never send the messenger except to speak in the tongue of his own people so they might understand. Right? And now what we see? The Syriac language. In which language Allah He gave, why Allah He gave the names of angels, not in Arabic names? Question. What language is that? Any Muhammadan can tell us? What is the language Allah He used to give the angels the names? You know, if you search, you will not find an answer by Muslims. You will find it only if you read our book. This book is a stupid book. For it is a theft. They cannot tell you, you know, we ask them, who is Allah? They do not know. What Allah mean? They do not know. What Jibreel mean? They do not know. What Abraham mean? They do not know. What Israel mean? They do not know. This is why Hidayat, he was laughing at the priest who do not know how to debate as usual. He said to him, your Bible says that Israel was struggling with God, but the word Israel itself proving the story, either you believe it or not. So why the Quran says his name is Israel? And you see in the Quran, like the Quran mentioned Jacob, Yaqub. Okay, what Jacob mean? They don't know. Okay, what Israel mean? They don't know. How Israel became Israel? They don't know. Where in the Quran it says that the person, his name is changed? There nowhere. So how this can be a book of guidance of God? How we will know what happened to Jacob? How he become, or how he when called Israel? Are you with me? In the same time, we find that the Muslim, they lie to us because Moses was sent to the Pharaoh. So how only Muhammad was sent to all mankind? Isn't it the Quran says that Moses asked the Pharaoh to convert into Islam? Hey Muslims, what's wrong with you? All those stories. So, brother and sister, Allah He sent Prophet Moses and his brother Harun to the people of Israel. And then we see that Moses and Aaron are asking the Pharaoh to convert to Islam. And not only that, the people of the Pharaoh, they believe in the God of the Jews. Read it to me, chapter 20, verse number 70. Do you see it? Hey Abdul, do you see it? I'm not making it. This is your Quran, chapter 20, verse number 70. So how Muhammad was sent to all mankind, only him as a prophet? And you know, I mean, it's funny what to say Muhammad was sent for all mankind. You mean to all women of mankind? What mankind? The guy, he spent his time talking about false prophecies and we die laughing at them. So Moses, actually even the word Moses has no meaning in Arabic. What Moses mean? Hey Muslims, what is the name of Moses and who is the one who called him Moses? Do you see how your story, how your Islam is stupid? Because you stole stories from others, you have no root of it, you are just a thief. Then you come with beheaded the story. Muhammad, he beheaded all the stories. Not only he beheaded thousands of people, he beheaded the stories. So according to the Quran, the people of the Pharaoh, they become following and believing the God of Moses and Aaron. So how Moses was sent? And how Moses he sent to the Pharaoh, believe in Allah? Believe in Allah. Do you allow a Christian to call? No, my friend. We are saying now, just, you know, if I say Christian, then you can text me. Moses, he asked the Pharaoh to believe in Allah, and the people of the Pharaoh, they believe in Allah. And I mean, read the story. Is that your Quran, or are making things up? Isn't it Allah who sent Moses and Pharaoh? Sorry, Moses and Aaron to Pharaoh? Did he send them by, like, did he say go to Pharaoh? Any Muhammadan? You know, one of the verses here, Moses is being smart, so he sent to the Pharaoh, or he's speaking supposedly wisdom. He said, the knowledge therefore is my Lord, record in a record, my Lord neither unaware nor he forgets. Is that what the Quran says in Arabic? Neither unaware, or it says la yadul, he don't get lost. I mean, translation is way of the Islamic deception work. But as you see, we can go, you know, all over the Quran. You will see Moses went. Not what about Jesus? Jesus, his book is supposedly called in the Quran Injil. Okay, how Jesus was sent to the Jews and his book name is the Greek name. What is the Hebrew? What about the Aramaic one? Why Muhammad he chosen the Greek name of the gospel? Isn't it this is your book saying we send down Injil? The Muslims translate it as a gospel. In Arabic it says وَأَنزَلَ التَّوْرَاةَ وَالْإِنْجِيلَ. Hey Muslim, what Torah mean? What Injil mean? They don't know. Yet, by the way, remember, this is Quran. Clear Quran in Arabic. But they don't know. But speaking about Muhammad is the only one sent to mankind, is totally contradiction for what the Quran claim, because Allah he sent the book in Arabic in order to make it clear. And not only that, the Quran even make it clear that Allah he sent it to not to the Arab really, only to Mecca and what is around it. You know, Muhammad, he never thought he will be big. He thought he will be a locally respected prophet. He never dreamed that his dream will grow, and and he will become a big name will grow. All right. So if you read here, chapter 42, it says it clearly, who is the target of the Quran? Who is the target of the Quran? Read it carefully. This is a Muslim translation. And thus we inspired into you. And by the way, this is a mistake, because Muhammad never received inspiration. Muhammad received delivery. So even the stupid Muhammad do not know the difference between inspired and delivery. If an angel come to my door and he told me words, that is not inspiration. Especially he's coming physically in a shape of a man. Once Muhammad, he saw him with 600 wings. And the funny, he saw him in the top of a throne, which means he is confused between the angel and God. Why the angel have a throne? I thought only Allah have a throne. So here you see, it says we inspired you, which is in the language is wrong, because Muhammad never received inspiration. A Quran in Arabic, okay, why? So you might warn the mother of the town, which means Mecca, and what is around it, not the whole world. Do you see it? It's in front of you. Do we have any Muhammadan have an objection? It says it clearly. And Mecca is a small, tiny village. I mean, until not long time ago, Mecca is even smaller than a hotel in Las Vegas. One hotel in Las Vegas can have more inhabitants, more than all the people of Mecca until just 100 years ago. If I go right now and search on Google, let me show you just pictures just 100 years ago. We cannot even call it a village, The word village is not even to consider as a village. Look at this. This is the Kaaba just 100 years ago. Dirt, few houses around it. This is the center of the city. This is the downtown. This is the most holy place in the city. If this is the most holy place, so imagine if you go to the second street, what you will see. Do you see it? This is a real picture of Mecca. And then the oil start coming. And then we have falafel stores around it. And we put a fence. And camels go around it too. So now Mecca is getting more advanced. So now we have bikinis, rosary, miswak, business. It's a business. This is the whole purpose of Mecca anyway, of the Kaaba. And this is where the Muslim, they used to throw rocks at Shaitan. Shaitan was living in town. Look at the Shaitan house. This is Mecca. And most of those people, 99%, they are not even from there. They are coming to do Hajj. If you go to Mecca now, you will find, 5 stars hotels, if not 7 stars. And around the Kaaba, there is air conditioning and the spray and fountains, Yeah, this is Mecca. This is the people, look at this. Naked people in the desert, in tents. And then thanks to the oil. And this is Mecca when the rain cover it. Not long ago, the Kaaba used to be flooded by poo-poo, literally. We don't see those pictures no more. Maybe they spent God knows how much money to fix it. And the funny is, and actually this is the biggest proof when somebody, a Muslim, he says to you that the Kaaba is the house of Allah, chosen location is made by Allah. This is the biggest proof that this cannot be true. Have you ever heard of a house of God, the most holy place for him, will be flooded by the poo-poo of every septic tank in the town? Until now in Mecca there's no sewage. There's no sewage. Most of Saudi Arabia, they have no sewage. It is just septic tank. So when little rain come, all the poop will float and go down to the Kaaba. So how this place is elected by Allah? Look, even people, they used to swim. Look at this. This guy is swimming. I don't know if you can see his head. This is just 100 years ago. And actually, until now, Mecca is flooded. Until now. This is just last few weeks ago, maybe. Do you remember Ali Dawah? He made a video. Brothers and sisters, Alhamdulillah, the Messenger of Allah, he said that judgment day will not come until the Arabian Peninsula become green. What the heck? Little flood, Arabian Peninsula become green? Little flash of flood, the Arabian Peninsula become green. And the Muslims takbir, Allahu Akbar, the prophecy come to be true. The Arabian Peninsula is just type right now the drought in Saudi Arabia. You will die laughing. What a green. Just type drought of Saudi Arabia. Green, huh? But because this is a wrong place for a city, Allah chosen the most funny, stupid place to build a city. Little tiny rain will flood and will damage the whole town. Look at this. No sewage. Allah himself cannot make a sewage. And look at the water, how clean it is. So you can get an idea. And this is now. So you can get an idea what kind of water is going to cover the Kaaba. So who is a Muslim? He want to support the statement that Muhammad even a messenger. I mean, messenger to who? Look. I have a proof that Muhammad is a messenger. How we knew that? Who is the one who sent down the Quran to Muhammad? It says here, the Ruh. You ask any Muslim what Ruh mean? He will say, spirit. Is Jibreel a spirit? Look, between two brackets they put, and by the way, we made the Quran in Arabic in order to make it clear. Hey Muslims, where in the Quran it says that the angels of Allah are a spirit? Where in the Quran it says that the one who is called Ruh, which means the spirit, is Jibreel? I thought this is a clear Arabic. Did Allah forgot? Why you are adding brackets? Where we can find that? Nowhere. In fact, we can prove that this is very false, because the Quran says that the angels and the spirit in the day of judgment, they will stand on line. If the angels and the spirit are the same, we don't say such a thing. Chapter 78, verse number 38. Do you see it? Look at the false translation. Look at this. The day that the Ruh, and now look what they did. Jibreel and other angels. But in Arabic it says it clearly. Because if Jibreel is a spirit, you don't call him the spirit, you idiot. If all of them they are a spirit, can you recognize Jibreel to be the only one is a spirit between them? If the angels of Allah are a spirit, then Jibreel is one of them. Then you cannot say the spirit, because he is, there's many. Which one? It's not a name. The spirit is not a name. So the day that the spirit and the angels will stand in rank. If you change the translator here, you will find different words. That's why we say the Muslims, they love to corrupt their book. We just change the translator. The day when the spirit and the angels stands in ranks. And you will notice here it says angels with letters S and the spirit. The spirit. What is that? And you know, if you want to examine Muhammad to be a prophet of God, we will die laughing, because all the stories in the Quran prove to us that Muhammad can't even be a prophet for a bunch of a chicken. Who is a Muslim when it challenged me to speak about a prophecy which nobody can argue about? As an example, you see this guy, what's his name? Hole is in the narrative, Yasser Qadhi. He spoke, he said that the prophet, he prophesied that you will conquer the Constantinia. That's false. The prophet of Islam, he prophesied that the people in front of him, the Arab, in his time, they will conquer the Constantinia. And then he went, he took his army to Tabuk, and he failed. And he died, he could not do it. And then, you're a prophet, he said, don't ever fight with the Turk. The Turk, they are the enemy of Islam. اتركوا الترك ما تركوكم. Leave the Turkish alone. As long they leave you alone. According to Muhammad, the enemies, the most enemies for Allah are those who they are Asian. Gog and Magog, according to Islam, they are Asian. And Muhammad, he described them how they look like. And Muhammad, he told them clearly, leave the Turkish as long they leave you. Leave the Abyssinians, like the Ethiopian, as long they leave you alone. Muhammad never predicted them to be Muslims, and they will not, they are not the one who is going to conquer the Constantinia. Those are the enemy of Allah. In fact, in the books of Tafsir, it says that the Turkish are one tribe of 22 tribes of the people of Gog and Magog. 21 tribes are behind the wall, which is built, according to the Quran, by Alexander the Great. One tribe was going fishing. Erdogan was going fishing. So when Zulqarnain, he did build the dam, the Turkish, those Turkish, they were outside of the dam. All right? Any objections from the Muhammadan? This is your books. It is fictions, it's a stupid. If you watch the video of Yasser Qadhi, you will leave Islam. Yasser Qadhi, this is his own words. He says, if you really think that there is a dam built from copper and iron, and they can stand all those thousands of years, if you believe in that, this is your, it's your problem. You don't believe in that. So what do you mean? This is what the Quran is saying. So the Muhammadan, they try to flood you with false information about how amazing Muhammad is, but the fact Muhammad is nothing but a fairy tale teller. He hears things and he say it. You tell him a story, he take it, he add it to his book. Even the Arab at that time, they accuse him to be an ear. He is an ear, which mean, a radar. Whatever he hear, he take it. Tell him a story. He's like a stupid kid. You tell him a story, he will add it in the Quran. Very simple. They come to him and they say to him, tell us, tell us about Zulqarnain. He start making, he go, he started some like searching for some information. He learned what people say, and he made it a part of his God book. Who in the world is going to believe in this? Any Muslim? Tell Muhammad a story about Mickey Mouse in his time. Trust me, he will make a chapter. It's called Mickey Mouse chapter. And the funny is, when they accuse him that he is an ear, the Quran confirm it. Did not say he's not. He said, so what? Isn't it better? Among them, chapter 9, verse number 61, among them are men who molest the Prophet. I like it, the molest thing. Molest. Muslims, what is that? Is that correct translation? And say, he is all ear. He just hear things and he put it in the book. Say, well, yeah, he listen to what is best for you. He believe in Allah. So even the Quran, the stupid Muhammad, he confirmed that he is an ear. He said, yeah, okay, I listen. I listen and I tell you what is best for you. But they are telling about the story he kept quoting, which is nothing but fictions. He is an ear. Muhammad, he confirmed it. He don't say, no, I'm not an ear. I think this idiot, he think that when he said to him, he's an ear, he think they are saying, oh, I have a good reception. You know? Oh, I have a nice ears, you know, maybe. They are making fun of him. Even the translation says they molest Muhammad. Among them are men who molest the Prophet and say, how they molest him? They call him ear. Muhammad, he like it. He said, yes, I am ear. I say to you the best. What best? So when they come to him, again, this is chapter 9, verse number 61. When they come to him and they say to him, Prophet, how many people they were in the cave? There's a very famous story, it's a fiction story, about the 7 sleepers. Muhammad, this story is very well known. This is a story written, you know, between the third and the 4th century after Christ. So this is like almost 300 to 400 years before Muhammad. It's a very well known story. So they asked Muhammad how many they were in the cave. I mean, look how stupid he is. Look how afraid he is. They ask him, tell us about the 7 sleepers, how many they are. I mean, have you ever heard of a stupid answer like this? They told you already the name. I mean, the answer. They told you the 7 sleepers. So look what they say. When they ask him, if you go and read the interpretation, they come and they ask him, tell us about the 7 sleepers. How many they are? What a nice exam, man. I would like to go and do mathematics exam like this when I was in high school. How many there are? How many the 7 sleepers? How many they are? So Allah is talking, not Muhammad. Allah now is going to give you the information to answer their question. So look at this. Some they say there were 3 and their dog is number 4. Some they say they are 4 and their dog is number 5. Some they say they are 5 and their dog is number 6. Doubtfully guessing at all unknown. Look, what the heck? Yet others they say they were 7 and their dog is number 8. Say, my Lord know their number. Look, what the heck? What is the answer? I mean, is Allah hiding for us now the judgment day? You see, if Allah will not tell us the day of judgment where it's going to be, I understand. But it's just a stupid number. Are they 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7? The answer, Allah knows their number. And not only that, I wish he stopped here. Look at the stupidity. My Lord knows best their number, and it is but a few that know the real case, the real number. Like, what the heck? So the number already is known. What is the number? He just admitted that there is few people know the true number. Okay, aren't you one of them? Allah? No, actually, I mean, if I want to do a narration, somebody's saying the best narration. This is not a good narration at all. What are you talking about? If I want to do a real narration for the thing here, it says that it's going to be different. Like, you know. Yeah, and actually, the translation is very funny. This Yusuf Ali, I think he was using Google, even there's no Google in his time. This guy translation is weird. Look. Let us focus in a better narration. This guy, he keeps saying here, did you share the bed with Trump? Our friend, the one who shared the bed with Trump is 65 Muslim leaders. They were like potatoes waiting for him in Saudi Arabia. And he was schooling them like potatoes, and he got your money and he came back. And he is the guy who is 7 foot, and all of you are shorter next to him. Let us see who is the one who shared the bed with who. Okay, let's go. So this is Muhammad. And now Muhammad is answering non-Muslims. Who can come with this? Unless he is a prophet of God. How many the 7 sleepers are? Some they say they were 3. And the dog is the 4th. And some they say they are 5. And their dog is number 6. Guessing. Just guessing. The unseen. If you cannot find your phone because now it is lost and unseen, we have an app for you. It's called Find Me. Download the app. It's called Find Me, which your wife, she will use it to find you in case you are going somewhere without her permission. So if you are a woman looking for your husband who escaped the house, did not wash dishes, please download the app immediately. The end of the commercial break. Continue. Some others, they say they are 7 and their dog is number 8. Muhammad, please, Muhammad, tell them. Please tell them, my Lord know best their number. None knows them but few. If you are looking for a few rats in your attic and you cannot find them, please go and buy from Walmart this following product. It's very good for rats. They will not be able to hide from that poison anymore. It's wonderful, it's tasty, and the rats will be saying thank you for that meal. And after that, for sure, they will die. Thank you very much. End of commercial break. This video is sponsored by rat.com. Let's continue. So debate not. Debate not about their numbers, etc. Except with a clear proof, which we have revealed to you, and cancel not any of them. The people of the scriptures, the Jews and the Christians, about the Quran, about the affair of the people of the cave. That's, I want to cry. And I want to convert to Islam. I mean, the guy, he gave us the correct answer. Look at this. Don't debate them about them. Don't debate about the number. Okay, what is the number? Hey, Muhammad, what is the number? What this drama is about? A bunch of Christians, and they say to Muhammad, okay, how many there are? The 7 sleepers. So because he's a potato, he was afraid to say 7 because they might get him busted. He's not sure. And how, in which language? It doesn't matter, by the way. Not only in Arabic is impossible. You don't say they are 3 and their dog is number 4. How he will be the 4th? Is he a human? In which language you say the dog is the 4th? And what this is God? This is God talking now. And look, Allah is telling him, don't debate about it. Because Allah revealed to you. Revealed to you what? Where is the number? I mean, this is a very, we are not talking about making a nuclear weapon, mathematics. It's just a stupid story. Just tell us how many there are. But because he knew, he might get busted. The same as when the Muslim, they call me. Show me your claim, Christian Prince, first. No, tell me. Did Shaitan take care from your anus? Christian Prince, show me, and then I will answer you. Show me. You don't, Okay, did your prophet, he went to 7th sky in top of a, how Christian Prince, show me your claim first, because they wanna, the answer will change after you show them. You see, they are hypocrites, liars, like their prophet. So Muhammad now, he do not know what to say. If he say 6, they might be 7. If he say 7, they might be 8. If they are 8, they might be 9. He don't know. So he made all this drama to avoid answering. The same happened when the Muslims accused Muhammad of stealing underwear. You see, the prophet of God who sent to all mankind, he will take your laundry. They killed a bunch of people, and now they are fighting over their underwears. And this is telling you what kind of people who they are, the companion of Muhammad. They are pirate, gangs. This guy, he lost his tooth. The other guy lost his eye. Imagine if Matthew accusing Jesus that he stole an underwear, or John. This is what happened here. The companion of Muhammad, they are accusing their prophet that he took a piece of a cloth. He stole it. How Allah he answer? Shouldn't Allah says, go to the house of this guy, open his drawer, you will find the panty there? No. Because you don't know. Obviously the one, you see this verse actually proving to us that either true that Muhammad is the one who took it, or Muhammad did not take it, but he is a false prophet, still his God. I mean, the one is talking now is Allah. Allah sent the verse saying it's not Muhammad, he took it, it's not for a prophet to steal underwear. Well, what you will lose if you tell us who took it? Shouldn't you tell us who is the one who took it? So they accuse their prophet that he is a thief, Yaghul. And look, this is the Muslim translation. The Yaghul or Ghul, is who's ever deceive his companions as regard the booty. Look what Muhammad did. He went, and he grabbed a piece of a clothes. He liked it. It's red, and he put it under his, and somebody saw him. And now Allah wanna clean the reputation of Muhammad. How? Not by saying who is the one who took it, by saying it's not Muhammad who took it. But if Allah is God, why he don't tell us who took it? Until now, this piece of a clothes is missing. Guys, are you following with me? How come the Quran says that Jesus, he can tell you what you hide in your houses, what even you ate, which means what is inside your stomach? Yet Allah cannot tell us who is the one who took the panty and why he did not do it. Isn't Muhammad a prophet of God, and now Allah is giving him the answer? Shouldn't Allah, hey, between you there's a thief, and by the way, all of this is a theft. It's a booty. This is what Muhammad used to do. He attacked the caravan. He is a highway, pirate. People traveling in peace. He attacked them. He killed them. He raped the women. He take their clothing. After even the sandal Muhammad was wearing, it was a sandal of a Jew. Even the donkey, the famous donkey, his name is Ya'fur. Muhammad, he claimed that he spoke to a donkey. Muhammad, he heard a story that in the Old Testament there's a man who Bilam, he heard a voice. The voices sound like it's coming from the donkey. So now Muhammad want to do the same. And then Muhammad suddenly he's speaking to the donkey. And what is the first question Muhammad he asked the donkey? He said to him, Ya'fur, do you like females? Ya'fur obviously is a gay. He don't like females, which is very normal. I mean, between donkeys, I mean, imagine you are a donkey. Why you want to like females? Come on, doesn't make sense. Even the donkey, he don't like females, and he get upset. And not only that, the first one who commits suicide in the history of Islam, it was the donkey of the Prophet. According to the story, actually I made a cartoon about it, you can go watch it. According to the story, when the donkey, he heard the news. Look at this donkey, man, he speak Arabic. I don't know, he was owned by a Jew. He killed Muhammad, he killed the Jew. He took the donkey, he took the gold and the silver of the Jew, he took the sandals, and now this donkey is very sensitive. And he told Muhammad, Allah created from my family 60 donkeys, and I am the last one for the last prophet. Makes sense. How come Zakir Naik did not use this evidence to prove that Muhammad is the last prophet? The last donkey, it makes sense. I mean, think about it. The last donkey for the last Zakir Naik. 60 donkeys. Allah created 60 donkeys. It's like the end of the line of limousine. 60. And he is the last donkey for the last prophet. And the donkey speak Arabic. And when the donkey heard the news that Muhammad he died, he didn't want to live no more. So he went to an empty well and he jumped in it and he fell over his neck and he died. Let us pray on him. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Thank you, Allah, for the donkey he died. Otherwise, he was going to kick us with his, and so on. So thank you very much. He was a great donkey for, What the heck is that? This is the prophet of Allah who sent to all mankind. You can search for it. The original video is called Choose Your Friends Wisely. Do we have any Muslim want to say anything? Any Muhammadan? Let us call the any Muslim want to call us? Who is a Muhammadan would like to join us and tell us how Muhammad is the messenger of all mankind? How that can be? Is that true, or you Muslim making mockery of your religion and your prophet? Well, yeah, there's many Muslims in the chat, but as you see, they are maybe too much scared. They are not confident, you know. Muslims are not confident about their belief. They speak loud, they shout because they are not confident, not because they are confident. The shouting and screaming Allahu Akbar is not because they are truly confident of their faith, no, but because they are trying to silence the voice of truth. They don't want to hear it. You know, Prophet Muhammad, he said, peace be upon him, he said that when shaitan, he heard the prayer to Allah, he fart. And I guess that's what the Muslims do. So they shout Allahu Akbar Takbir, so they will not hear the question, and they will avoid the question. I'm not going to ask how Muhammad he knew this knowledge, which is very deep knowledge, include methanol and all kind of gas and mixed gas and beans, you know. But obviously he get it from Allah, you know. All this knowledge is coming to him because he's a prophet of Allah. And there's no way a normal human being will know such a knowledge about what shaitan do, how he fart, unless he is a prophet of God. Just a simple logic. Do you think a normal man, he is not a prophet of God like Allah, will know that shaitan, he do such a thing? No way. Especially we don't hear him. Guys, take it easy on the guy, whoever he is. Don't insult him. He want to call me, he can call me. There's no need to say to him, you know. Okay. So when Satan, he hear the call of the prayer, he turn his back and he break winds. I don't know if we can call the administration of Biden so they can use the fart of shaitan to generate electricity. Maybe we can install a speaker of Allahu Akbar next to the wind generator, and shaitan, he will start farting in that specific location, and we will have a free electricity all over the place. It's just an idea. I don't know. I mean, I'm just feeling bad that we are making a global warming, shaitan farting, methanol, you know, we need to get rid of it. At least we can use it for something useful, you know. How the prophet he knew this unless he is prophet of God? Only prophet of God will know such a thing. This is very, you know, this is very scientific knowledge. Only people who have a scientific degree, they can know such a thing. You know, me myself, like, you know, the first degree I got, it was elementary school. And then the dean of the University of Elementary School, okay, he gathered from everywhere. We brought like donkeys and etc. And we have celebration. And now, like, you know, because I was like the most educated person in the whole city, you know. And they said to me, why you don't work as a prophet? I said, how I can do that? They said, well, do you know how to read, how to write? I said, well, I graduated from elementary school, but no, I do not know how to read, how to write, because we spend time praising the prophet. You know, this is how we graduated. It's perfect. Now you are qualified to become a prophet of God, because you do not need to know how to read, how to write. A prophet of God in Islam have no requirement except to be illiterate. And then he will teach you science about farting, about medicine. As an example, camel urine, you can drink it. It's very healthy. Which, by the way, proven by scientifically. I know a scientist from Japan, very well known. His name is Yama Aidu Lai Yama. Very well known Japanese scientist, you know. So Yama Aidu Lai Yama from Japan, he said that is true, that if you drink the camel urine, that will make your kidney very healthy. Just try it, try it. Disclaimer, I'm not saying that. This is the Prophet. Don't sue me later. Any Muslim? So Muhammad is a messenger of Allah. I mean, when we read the stories of Muhammad, we will find that Muhammad, he cannot be a messenger of anybody, not even for the post office. I mean, how this guy will not even deliver a letter if you don't know how to read the address? And you know, the funny is that they say to you, Allah is all-knowing. Okay, don't Allah knew that Muhammad is illiterate? Muslims? If he knew, how come Allah said to him, read? If you do not know, the guy do not know how to read. So I am Allah, and I am the one sending the message to Muhammad, and now the guy who do not know how to read, and then I say to him, read. I mean, do you see how easy to prove that Muhammad is really a prophet? Any Muslim? I can accept this statement that Allah, he said to Muhammad, read, if Muhammad, after he said that to him, he was able to read like a miracle. So Allah, he squeezed Muhammad 3 times, and still Muhammad do not or cannot, you know, read. So why Allah saying to him, read? Yeah, the only one is calling us is Fakir, what we can say. If you are a Muslim and you'd like to join us, please, you know. The last prophet of Allah is illiterate, ignorant, stupid. He was possessed. He don't even have, hello? Yeah, mostly it's Fakira. Hello? Hello? Here we go. Are you there? Okay, take a hike. So this guy, Muhammad, he was possessed under black magic, bewitched. He imagined himself having sex, yet he did not. He received satanic verses. He bowed down to the idols. He recited Quran from shaitan. He never noticed that it's not from Allah. He never saw Allah. He never heard Allah. He never heard the fart of Allah. There's a guy come to him, and he tell him that he is Jibreel. That's all. This is Muhammad. And then this guy, Jibreel, when he come to him, he told him read, and he squeezed him 3 times. Hey Muslims, do you know even why he squeezed him? What is the point of squeezing him? So he came to the cave. The angel came to him and asked him to read. The prophet replied, I do not know how to read. The angel is stubborn. He hold him again, and Muhammad can't breathe. And look, and what the heck? And then the angel, he said to him again the same thing. Read, man, read, read. And the angel, he have no idea what's going on. I mean, the Muhammad, poor guy. The angel, he squeezed him. Muhammad says, I do not know how to read. The angel, he squeezed him again. The angel, you know, the Muhammad say, I do not know how to read. The angel squeezed him 3rd time. And by the way, Muslims, everything in Islam is 3 times. Everything in Islam is 3 times. Anyone can tell us why it took the angel 3 times? What about from the first time? He squeezed him, he told him, I do not know how to read. Especially he's repeating the same answer. I mean, what is the difference between the first answer and the second answer and the third answer? Why the angel stopped after the third answer from squeezing him? What happened? Is your angel is so slow to the point took him 3 times to notice, oh, I'm asking the wrong thing. This guy, he just said 3 times, I do not know how to read. Is that what happened? Any Muhammadan? If the first answer is the same as the second answer, and the second answer is the same as the third answer, how come the angel did not notice that there's no point of keep squeezing him? What do you think? Any Muhammadan? No answer. Three times. Everything in Islam is 3 times. Why? We do not know. And then after 3 times, do Muhammad even know what's going on? No. He went to his wife and he told her, cover me, cover me. And he starts snoring like a camel. And then he told his wife, what's wrong with me? Maybe I should say it like Dawah. Brothers and sisters, the angel, he came to me and he squeezed me 3 times. And he keeps saying to me, read. I said to him, read what? I cannot read. The angel, he hold me and he squeezed me. I swear by Allah. My wife, give me grape, please, grape. Yeah. Okay, so brothers and sisters, the angel, he squeezed me again. Brother Mimi Hijab, please put your t-shirt on, man. Don't tempt the Muslims. No time for striptease now. We are telling a true story. We are not in the front of the Chinese embassy. Thank you, brother. Yeah, put your t-shirt. Why you are taking the pant off? No, what are you doing? Sorry, brothers. I have to speak to a brother here. He has something wrong with him. He took the wrong medication. What kind of religion is this religion? One, he striptease for us. The other one, he want to grape. But nobody can answer a question. Any question? They only shout Allahu Akbar. Especially if they are like many. When they are alone, like an individual, he's a potato. When they are a bigger group, they are heroes. Any Muhammadan? What this story is about? And not only that, you see the Quran, Zakir and Yuka, he says that the Quran is preserved. I'm just going with their statement, you know. Okay, what is the first chapter Allah he gave to Muhammad? According to the Muslims, this one, in the verse, the story of squeezing. Allah, he told him, read. But right now in the Quran, this is chapter number 96. So how number 1 became 96 at the end of the Quran? Any Muhammadan? Who is a Muhammadan is willing to call us and tell us anything to prove that Muhammad really last messenger, first messenger? I don't care. Prove to us that he is a messenger. Anyone? Beside Zakir Naik, you know, Zakir Naik, either the Muslim, either they put their finger, usually they give their finger up to the sky. The only one who finger their God is the Muslims. You ask them why, they say Allah is one. Allah is one finger. What the finger have to do with him? I mean, Allah is one. Why you give him a finger? One what? No, we spoiled him. His name is not Zakura. I spoiled him. Like, you know, this is my favorite customer. You have to spoil the Abdul, you know. Did any Muslim send him an email, say to this guy that Christian Prince, he made thousands and thousands of Muslims leave Islam? What about you? He will answer, he will say, Brother Twitter, one of you send me an email asking me to debate Christian Prince. First of all, if I mention his name, I'm going to make him famous. So, brother, I'm not going to mention his name, but his name, Christian Prince. I'm not going to say Christian Prince, because if I say Christian Prince, then everybody will know about Christian Prince. And therefore, I should not to say Christian Prince, because if I say the name of Christian Prince, everybody will know about him and will go to his channel. So, brother, sister, I'm not going to say anything about Christian Prince, because if I say Christian Prince, he will become famous. So I decided not to say the word Christian Prince. What? I said many times Christian Prince? Yeah, I said many times Christian Prince because I only want to say it, okay? They asked him to debate David Wood. He says, brother and sister, first of all, this person, if I debate him, if I say his name, he will become famous. Like, what stupid, you just mentioned his name. You just made a video about him. You just made a video about him, and now you have 3 million subscribers. They will watch it. You don't want to make him famous. You know, this story remind me of Muhammad. When Muhammad, he said to the Muslims, anyone write down anything from me except the Quran, erase it. What the Muslims do? They write down. The Prophet said, anything I say, don't write it down, erase it, except the Quran. But he just told you don't write it down. He just told you don't write down anything except the Quran. You go and you write it down. The Prophet says don't write down anything I say except the Quran. I mean, why the second you follow this stupid cult, your IQ is behind the galaxy. Like, imagine you say to some kids, don't write on the wall, and then they say, Dad, he said don't write on the wall, and they wrote it on the wall. Okay, he just told you don't write, erase it. Not only he said don't write, he said erase, which means even if you have it from before now, erase it. What they do? They continue writing the hadith, and now we are laughing. Thank you, Muslims. And then Erdogan, he made a conference for all the scholars around the world so they can filter the unsuitable hadith, which is an embarrassment for the Prophet. Any Muhammadan? Prove the Bible instead of talking about the Quran. Why need to prove the Bible? Here we go. The Quran prove the Bible. Isn't it your stupid Quran says that the Bible is confirmed? Are you saying that the Bible of Allah is corrupt too? Let me call you. Here we go. We have Abdul, smart Abdul. Let us call this Abdul. He's not answering. Hello? Hello? Yeah, I hear you. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Did you call to prove the Bible for me?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Are you talking about the Bible of Allah?
I'm talking about the Bible you believe in. Do you want to prove that your religion is true?
Yeah, but isn't it the Bible I believe?
Quran all the time?
Yeah, isn't it the Bible? Isn't it the Quran says that the Bible which we have is from Allah?
No, the Bible that you have today is corrupted, my friend. It's not the same.
Okay, do you have your Quran with you? Do you have your Quran with you?
I can bring the Quran, but leave the Quran alone and
no. Why don't we leave the Quran?
Bible. First of all,
are you saying the Quran? Are you saying the Quran is an embarrassment to you?
No,
so
sir.
Why you are saying to me? Why you are saying to me? Leave the Quran alone.
Because you need to prove your own religion. Why are you
Exactly.
speaking
You
only
know,
about
who is the
Islam?
one who said my religion is corrupted?
Well, I say this that your book is corrupted,
No, 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 no.
so
Who
you
is the
can
one
prove
who
it for
said to
me.
you as a Muslim? Who is the one who said to you that my book is corrupted? Just be honest with me.
The Quran says that your book is
Okay,
corrupted.
thank you very much.
That's
Can you show me the verse in the Quran says my book is corrupted?
it's all over, my friend. You believe in the Trinity. It's all
Don't change topic. Don't change
polytheism.
topic. Don't change topic. Don't change topic. So you see, you failed to give me the answer. In fact, nowhere in the Quran it says my book is corrupted. The Quran
No,
says no.
just because I'm not able to tell you
No, 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 no. I will
exactly.
help you. I will help you. I will help you. If you go in the Quran, chapter 2, verse number 89, it says that when come to them, to the Jews and the Christians, a book, which means the Quran, confirming what is with them, which is the Torah and the Injil. So your Quran
No,
confirming the book with us. This is Quran.
confirming what was with you. It
No,
was
no, 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 no,
before,
no, no. It
before you
doesn't
had
say.
the real
Okay,
one.
I will take the chance if you can show me what it says. What was with you? Can you show me the word was? If it says was, I will agree with you. No problem then.
My friend, listen, you want to prove the Bible?
No, no, no,
Because
no.
that was
Hold on.
my
Why
initial
you are
question.
escaping the topic? Why are you
I
escaping?
am
Okay,
asking you
so because
about
either
your
the
Bible,
Quran,
sir.
either the
Can you ask?
Quran, or don't you believe that the Quran is made in a clear Arabic?
Why are you always talking about the Quran?
Why
Can you
not?
speak
You are a
about the
Muslim.
Bible?
To refute a Muslim, I have to use the Quran because you don't believe in any other book. Why I want to
But
waste my
prove your
time?
religion.
No, no,
Why
no, no,
don't you
no. You
ever
see,
prove your
why I
own
want to waste my
religion?
time? Why I want to
Prove
waste my.
your own
You are
religion.
saying to me in advance. You are saying to me in advance. You have an idea in your head that my book is corrupt. So now you want me to prove to you from the corrupt book, according to you, that my book is not corrupt. That is silly. So I'm showing you from your book, which you think is not corrupt, that you are wrong and you don't know what you are talking about. So chapter 2, verse number 89 says, confirming what is with them, not what was with them. Why you are adding word to the Quran? Are you corrupt in your Quran?
I'm not corrupt.
So why you
Listen,
are adding
there are
words? Why you?
several verses.
Why you?
Look,
No
there are
problem.
several
Show me. Okay.
verses
Are you saying to me there's a
that are
contradiction? Are you
showing
saying to me there's a
that
contradiction in the
show
Quran?
your
Are you saying there's a contradiction in the Quran? Because this verse says here, what is with them, not what was with them.
Yeah, but you changed it. Open a tafsir for this
No
verse and
problem. Oh,
let's
so
read
that
it
so
together.
it's not Allah who said that. It is somebody.
No, I follow the scholars. So if
Okay,
you want to
hold
open a
on.
tafsir and read
So
it
you
for
don't
me, then
follow
I will.
Muhammad. Okay, let us make it clear. You don't even follow Muhammad. You follow the scholars.
Sorry,
You don't follow
you're
Muhammad. You
breaking
follow
up,
the
my
scholar. Did
friend.
your prophet says what you are saying, or the scholar says that?
The scholars don't bring from their own
No,
mind.
no,
They bring it
exactly, exactly.
they bring
So
it
when the
from the
scholar he says
Quran.
something,
They
he
bring
have
it
to
from
he have to give us the proof. They have to tell us the prophet said. Otherwise, they are lying. So do you follow Muhammad or you follow scholars?
do you want to open the tafsir and read for the people,
No
and you
problem. Here
can
we go.
learn and I can
In
learn
front of you, the
also with
Quran in
you.
front of me, and we can open tafsir, no problem. It says confirming what is with them, and the Arabic according to the Quran is clear. I thought the Quran, you do not need tafsir because Allah he said in the Quran, we made it in a plain, clear Arabic. Are you saying that the one who said that statement in the Quran is not God? Because if Allah could not make his verse clear and he claimed that he make it clear, that means Allah don't speak good Arabic.
It's not about bad Arabic, sir. You understand?
So then
I'm
give me the
telling
answer.
you.
Why it says, thank you. Why it says then confirming what, not only confirming, actually believing in what is with them, not was, the verse in the front of you. I'm not making things up.
No, confirming what is with the meaning, it doesn't confirm everything that you have.
So
We use
if I say
the Quran
now, I confirm
the
what is
Quran
with
is
you, I
no,
say
it's
confirm what is with you, I don't mean with you, I mean not with you. Because if confirming what is
no.
with them,
Okay,
that hold
let
on.
me
You
explain.
see, look what you just did. If I say confirm what is with you, that means everything with them is the truth. Anything is not with them is not what he confirmed.
Let me explain, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the thing is, it confirms, the Quran confirms some of the stories in the Torah and some of the stories in the Injil, but it doesn't confirm everything. So the Quran is a benchmark for us to measure against what's previously revealed, but is corrupted by you.
Give me one
So
story is a benchmark in the Quran against what is revealed before.
For instance, your belief in Trinity, you say that
Okay.
Isa
Okay.
salam
What?
is not he's not a prophet, he's a god. You say that that's
Okay. No,
false.
we don't believe that he is a God. We don't believe in a God. We believe he is God, not a God. Secondly, where we can find the Trinity in the Quran? What is it? What is the Trinity?
Go to
According to your
Surah
understanding, let's make it simple. What
just
is the
go to
Trinity?
Surah
What
Al-Baqarah. It will
the
tell you
Trinity?
that
Listen,
there's
listen.
one God. One God.
Are you a lady or a guy? I'm confused with your voice.
I'm a woman.
Okay, lady.
I'm not.
So listen. So what is the Trinity in the Christian belief? Can you tell me?
You believe in three gods, my friend.
Okay, let us say. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. I'm listening. Three gods. Who are they?
It doesn't matter. The thing
No,
is,
it
you
matters. Tell
put
me the name of.
partners.
Tell me,
You
because
put
either you
partners
are
with
making
Allah.
false, accusation, or you can
You
support what you say. Either you are ignorant. Either you are ignorant. You do not know what you are talking about, or you tell me who are the three gods. You said the Christian believe in three gods. Give me their names.
You say okay. You say three gods. Okay.
Where we say that? Where we say that?
For me, that's not
Where
important.
we say that? You are lying.
You say that.
You are a liar like your prophet. No Christian believe in three gods. Even your stupid Quran says we believe in one.
Have some respect to first
I
of
don't
all.
respect liars. You're lying. You said we believe three gods. You keep saying your Bible is corrupt. You say Jesus is not God. That's an insult. And now you are accusing me of lying. And I'm saying to you, we don't believe in three gods. I ask you for proof. You refuse to give me. Now I'm asking you, is it true? I will help you. I will help you. I will help you. I will help you.
Like, listen.
I will help you. I will help you. Do you agree that the Christian believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit?
I don't care about which God you believe in.
We care. Don't you are the one who mentioned the Trinity. Don't run away from it now. So do you agree? Do you agree? No, you cannot escape it. You are the one who mentioned it. You cannot jump over it. So do you agree that all the Christian believe in God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit, and this is the Trinity? Yes or no?
I know that you believe that Jesus is God, is a God.
What about the Holy Spirit? Is the Holy Spirit is God in Christianity too?
For that, I don't care. But if you say that,
you cannot. You care. So you are lying to me. You know nothing about Christianity. So you know nothing. You are like your prophet. You know nothing about Christianity because your God actually in the Quran. Look at the Quran. The Quran says
you have three gods.
No, we don't have three gods. That is a big fat lie. We believe in one God. And the Quran. Okay, when the Quran confirmed what is with us, did he confirm that we believe in three gods?
The Quran only confirms the truth that's found in
where in the verse says I confirm only the truth. The verse says confirming what is with them.
I can explain for you. Confirm doesn't mean everything, right? It can mean it's a way of verifying things. So like
verifying what? What is with them? What is with them?
Verify what is. Yes, to verify what's with you using the truth.
I will go with you. I am assuming now. I'm assuming that Allah, he forgot to mention the word some in the verse. He should mention the word some because according to you, Allah did not mean confirming everything. He means some, correct?
You're just using words to confuse
I'm not.
the people.
You are adding words. You are the one who's adding words. You are the one who is adding the word some to the Quran. In the verse in front of me, it doesn't say confirming some of what is with them. According to you, Allah confirmed only some, which is the truth, not everything. So either the Quran used to have the word some, and you Muslim, you took it off. Good job. Or the Quran never have it, and that means you are lying.
As I explained to you, to confirm it means, to verify it means.
According to who? How I say I confirm it? How I confirm something? How I confirm something with them, which is wrong? Because what with them, they believe in Jesus as God, as you said. So how you confirm what is with them, without saying little of what you have, some of what you have, but you did not say that. In the same time, do the Christian believe that Jesus is God or he is Allah?
Yeah, that's the problem. You associate a created being, a creature with Allah, and you say he is God.
Okay, listen carefully. Right? Listen carefully to the question. Do the Christian believe that Jesus is God or he is Allah?
It's the same thing, isn't it?
No.
Like you say that It's the
No,
same thing for us.
no,
Allah is God. He's the only
no,
true
no, no,
God,
no, no,
and
no. You see, Allah
you
is
associate.
Allah is an individual name, a person, a God you worship. His name is Allah, correct? So, do you think that the Christian believe that Jesus himself is the same person as Allah? Is that what Christian believe?
Yes, every Christian goes around and says
Okay, thank
Jesus
you.
is a God,
So,
right?
what is the Trinity then? If we believe that Jesus is Allah, what is the Trinity?
What do you mean? You say that
You just
Jesus is
said
God.
that
Jesus,
the
a human
Christians,
being.
you just
Bro,
said that the Christians believe that
my
the Messiah is
friend,
Allah. Listen,
my
in the
friend.
Quran, I will help you. I will help you. In the Quran says that the Christian, they say that the Messiah is Allah. So if the Messiah is Allah, that means we don't believe in two gods, three gods, as you said, lying. That means we believe in one God. His name is the Messiah, and he is the same person as Allah. That's what the Quran is saying. Are you against the Quran statement?
Okay, you're just using words to confuse
For
again.
sure I will use
Okay,
words. What I will use concrete?
I'm
What's wrong with you? I'm
telling
using your Quran. I use your Quran. You say you are using words. I'm reading your Quran. The Quran said, surely in disbelief are they who say Allah is the Messiah. Not Allah, not the Messiah is God. No, Allah is the Messiah. So where is the Trinity?
At least now you prove that you believe there is a created being, a created human being,
Okay,
a
hold
man
on.
who is
Can the created human being create?
by the will of Allah, yes, of course.
So,
By
but
the
you
will
just said to me,
by the will of
you
Allah,
just said to
anybody
me,
can
only Allah can create. Now you are saying that a human being can create too.
I never said
Okay,
only Allah.
who is the one who can create? Is it only Allah, or there's others can create beside Allah?
Okay, you're just going from place to place,
No,
my
you are
friend.
the one
And
who mentioned to me created. It is you who mentioned the created. It's you who mentioned the Trinity. Each time you mention something, you try to escape from it. I'm going with you. You mentioned the Trinity. I wasn't talking about Trinity. I was talking about how Muhammad is a messenger of Allah, and this is the topic. And how the angels squeeze him. You change the topic. And how he is the last prophet. You change the topic. And you ask right away. You throw to me. You throw at me at the Trinity. And then you say to me, you corrupt your Bible. I show you the verse in the Quran saying we confirm what is with them. You come with me with a very funny answer, adding words to the Quran, corrupting your Quran, saying confirming some of what is with them, but the Quran do not have the word some. So obviously the Quran is a stupid book. Allah do not speak good
no,
Arabic,
it's not.
because hold on,
Listen,
if
you
Allah
have
is a
no
smart,
reason for insulting.
if Allah speak
You
good
need to
Arabic,
stop insulting, first of all.
if Allah
Be
don't talk
respectful.
about insulting, all your Quran is an insult. You call us kuffar, you call us pagan, you call us dogs, you call us monkeys, you call us animals, you call us the worst of the creatures, you call us najis, which means filthy, and you are talking about insult.
Even your Bible is an insult. It insults
No problem.
us.
Sure,
So why
my
are I
Bible
talking
is an
about
insult to
insult?
false man like Muhammad. Listen, isn't it your prophet? He said that you are half a brain. Isn't it your Quran and your prophet says you are
Now
half
you
a brain?
come to this is just okay. Now
No,
you
no,
are
no,
just
no, no, no. You are the one who speak about insult. Is
personally.
it an insult for you as a female to say that you are half a brain and
no,
most
it
of women
doesn't
they
say
will
that.
go to hell?
It doesn't say that. You are a liar.
Okay, read for me. Okay, read. Okay, read for me. Here we go. Do you speak Arabic? Here we go. It says ناقصات وعقل ودين. ناقصات وعقل ودين. Here we go. Read for me. Let us see who is lying.
I'm not going to read.
Why?
No, I'm not
Why?
reading anything.
So
I'm
you're
not
a prophet.
reading
You're a prophet. He said,
I'm not reading for you.
the most people of hell are women, and most of them they are going to hell because they have half a brain and half religion. ناقصات وعقل ودين. They ask him, prophet, why we do that? Why we are half a brain? Why you claim that? He says, isn't it true that the Quran says that women they have a lack of wisdom and they are stupid? And that is mentioned in the Quran that two women, hold on, let me finish.
Listen,
and the Quran says two women are equal to one man as a witness. So two women brain is equal to one man brain. The Quran says that, and Muhammad using the Quran to prove.
You're a hypocrite, Christian Prince. You are a hypocrite.
Let us see who's the hypocrite. Okay, you want to talk about hypocrite? You want to talk about hypocrite? How Muhammad he said the majority of women they will go to hell, and now he promised the Muslim men that they will have, because you are not going to answer. You are being a coward. You don't answer. So
I'm not a coward. I'm just.
So why you are talking about insult when your prophet he insulted you?
He never insulted me.
So read the reference then.
Stop lying.
So read the reference.
It's never insulted.
I'm not lying. I'm showing in the screen. Read the reference.
This is pointless because
No,
I
you
thought
see,
told
you
me,
are
I thought
ignoring
told
the
me
evidence.
prove your
You are
Bible.
ignoring the evidence
You never,
because
you never proved your
it is an
Bible.
embarrassment for you. You are being an embarrassment to your religion, and you prove that Muhammad was right. You are half a brain. Otherwise, read the reference and refute me. I'm giving reference. I'm not giving a speech. Your prophet said the majority they
Okay,
will go to
so you
hell,
present it to me.
and you have a
You are
lack of
saying that.
you have a lack of wisdom. And why you have a lack? Why you have half religion? Because you have menstruation.
Listen,
And
no,
okay,
listen.
listen.
I have actually read the hadith that you're
Okay,
talking about.
can you read it for
And
us?
let me
Can you
tell
read it
you,
for us again?
I'm,
Can you read
I
for?
already read it. I don't need to read it again. I
Can you
already
read
read
for?
it.
Can you read for
I
us?
have.
Can you read for us?
I read it already. Let me give you the
Okay.
explanation if you
Okay.
want
No,
to
I
hear
want
it.
you to read it and give us the explanation.
Okay, I'll give you the explanation because I already read it.
Okay.
Okay.
Does it say in the hadith you have a defect in your intelligence?
Okay, but let me explain
So
what
you
that
agree.
means.
Let us first
It's
agree.
a reduction.
Let us agree. Let us agree with the
It's
point.
a
Does it
reduction in
say?
the
Does it say?
responsibility.
Does it say that you have a lack of intellect, a defect? Does it say that? You agree?
First of all, no, it doesn't say that. Wait,
Okay,
let
this
me
is why I'm saying let us read the
show me
hadith.
your page.
You
Show me
see?
your page.
Okay,
Actually.
so you see now you are trying to say it doesn't say that. So what about we read the hadith?
Okay, just show me on. I'm on your YouTube. I don't see
All right,
what you're
here we
speaking
go.
about.
Okay, here we go. I want you to read. This is the hadith in front of us. Here we go, and you can read from the beginning. He said, Abu Sa'd, etc. Blah blah blah
Why
blah
are
blah.
you keeping moving it? You're keeping.
Okay,
You
go
keep
read.
moving.
I will move. I will move with you. Start reading. I will move with you. Go ahead.
I'll read it for myself. I'm not reading for
No,
you
I
out
want
loud.
you to read it so you don't say it doesn't say that. What you will lose? Your voice
No,
is
I
gone
will
now.
not. I
Your
will
voice
not
is
do
gone.
that. I
Okay,
will
listen.
not.
Don't
I
waste my
will not
time. Don't waste my time. It says here among women who are defect in intelligence and religion. Does it say that? Does it say defect?
deficient.
Does it say? Does it
Deficient.
say?
Deficient.
Does it say
Yes,
deficient?
deficient.
Deficient.
Yeah,
So your
yeah. It
prophet
does
he
say that.
claimed.
Okay,
Your prophet he claimed that you have deficiency of
okay,
intelligence just because you're a woman.
okay.
Explain to us. Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all,
First of
okay,
all,
this
hold
is
on.
gonna.
You said to me, remember, a second ago you said to me, it doesn't say
Don't
that.
interrupt me. I
No,
was
no,
gonna
hold on.
explain to you why you keep,
Apologize when
interrupting.
I said you have deficiency. You said it doesn't say that. And that's why I made you read
Not
the hadith.
the
You
way
say,
you
yeah,
said
you
it.
said that. You said it doesn't say that. I know the
You said
hadith.
you are a half brain. You said you are a half brain. It doesn't say that.
No, I
Still,
said you have deficient. I have deficient. It's recorded. You said to me it doesn't say that.
You said you're a half brain, and it
Well,
doesn't say that. It's true.
no, I said in the beginning half a brain. Now, when you said to me, I said to you, okay, let me read it, because you said to me, no, it doesn't say that. What it doesn't say that? We can play.
Okay,
We
now
can't play that. We
explanation.
can play your audio again. It's recorded.
No problem, my
Okay.
friend.
So
You
you
want me
said
to explain
deficient.
it?
So now you are telling me that you are a smart human being, a woman, a Muslim woman, when your prophet says you have deficient in intelligence and you are stupid.
Okay,
Go ahead.
let's make some.
Go ahead.
Okay, no need for the disrespect, but this was said for the women of Ansar, you understand, and these women were very contentious women, okay? They were very disrespectful to their husbands, and
Yeah.
that's why he said to them,
Okay, where it
even
says that this is women from Al Ansar, it says women, most of you will go to hell. He didn't say some women.
I'm telling you the background, okay?
No, don't tell me background. Did he mean, okay, is it the Quran was only for Ansar or the Quran was for all women in the world?
This is hadith you are speaking about,
No
so this is
problem. But
about
Muhammad using the
it's
Quran to
about
explain,
time.
the Quran is used to explain how you have a lack of intellect and intelligence. He is
To the
using the
women
Quran.
to the women of Ansar. He's saying to them, the women of Ansar, he's telling them that they are contentious, they don't respect their husbands, and for that reason they need to change themselves because they have a reduction in the way that they analyze things is what it's saying, but it doesn't mean it's for everybody. First of all, it doesn't mean for everybody.
Okay.
Can
Can you give me the proof? Can you give me the proof? No, in front of everybody. Can you give me the proof to shut me up in front of everybody? I will apologize from you that this was only for Ansar, not for every woman. And I will apologize from you, and I will apologize from you in front of everybody if you can prove it. Huh?
I can try to get it for you. 1 second,
No,
just
okay.
give me a
Okay, go ahead.
Like I have
Remember,
I have
you have to
for
show me
this.
that it says only Al-Ansar women. This is only for
No,
Ansar.
I only need to show you that he's talking to the women of
I
Ansar
don't
when this
know,
was
my
written.
friend. They are Muslims. What Ansar? There's nothing is called Ansar. Muslims are Muslims. Your prophet, he did not say women of Al Ansar. He saw a group of women. He was coming from the prayer. He saw a group of women. He said to them, pay alms, give me money,
Because
give me
of their
money, give me
behavior,
money. And you said to me,
their
you
bad behavior.
lied, you lied. You said you need to correct yourself. No, you're a prophet. He just told them, give me your earring, give me your jewelries, and then you will go to heaven. Is that correct?
That was for a war. I believe it was just
No, in the same story.
war.
As long you know the story, in the same story,
This,
the women
he
they
was
start,
collecting.
the
It
women
was
they
collect.
start, listen, the women they start giving their earring. It says in the front of you, give alms. And what they did,
Yes,
then
yes,
Bilal,
for
Bilal,
to help to help.
He put a sheet. Bilal, he put a sheet, and the Muslim women they start putting their earring and their bracelet made of gold and silver, correct? And now they will go to heaven because they gave their bracelets.
Okay. Okay, but this is first of all, I just explained to you that this is
You
said
know
to a specific
how
group
they are
of women.
bad, and you said to me
A
they will correct
specific
themselves, and you said at the same time in Arabic it says Ya ma'shara nisa, oh all of you women, not some of the women. Do you know what
the
ma'shara
women
nisa
that
mean?
are bad.
Do you know what
The,
ma'shara nisa mean?
no, I don't speak Arabic, sir,
Here
so
we
I don't
go.
know what it means.
Here we
But
go. It
like
says
I'm
he
just explaining
passed
to you.
by women and he says, oh women, Ya ma'shara nisa, all kind of women, all kind of women. Ma'shara
No,
nisa.
the women who are in the
No,
audience,
mashar,
the women.
the kind, like there's a male and there's a female. So, yeah, mashar nisa, all of you females, you are going to go to hell, the majority.
That's
And
a
then what they
lie.
do,
All the
what they do to go to heaven, they give their earrings. Is that correct?
that's to donate is charities
But
and
how they
to
will
do
go to heaven now? I thought they are
it's not a
bad.
good
I thought you said they
make
are bad
to make
women.
charity
You said to me they are bad women. How bad women they will go to heaven if they give their bracelet?
to do a good deed. Of course, if you do good deeds, it's counted for
But they
you
are
as a good
bad.
deed.
So are you saying we can bribe the prophet and if we pay him
It's
money?
not bribery. It's to help, right? It's to help. You
How is
don't
going
have
to help? How
you
is going
don't
to
have
help? Did the women change? No. Are they better? Are they smarter? No. He said the reason they will go to heaven, they have to hell, because they have
because
deficiency. He said because they have deficiency in their brain. And he used the Quran to prove it. Listen.
boy,
When your prophet he says they have deficiency in the brain, he was talking only about those women of Ansar or all women.
I just gave you the context of what
I don't hear you. Your
what
voice is very far.
uh hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. So was he talking
Okay.
about all women or only certain women? You said to me Al Ansar, right? So he said you
He
have
was
deficiency.
talking first of all, he's talking to a specific group of women, I told you, okay? But if
Specific
you
women
want
or
to
women?
understand
Specific women or women?
specific group
Okay.
of
So
women is
are
what
you
he
saying to me all those women who is speaking to are the same? All of them they have deficiency in their brain.
only though he or okay, the hadith already tells you what kind of women are the ones that are bad, okay? The ones
Why?
that speak
What? The
back,
women she have
the ones that
menstruation?
speak
No.
back,
He said.
the one who speak back to their husbands and are disrespectful, the ones that are always talking and gossiping, that's the one that he first described.
So the one who gossip is a bad woman?
Well, yeah, to cause
Okay. So
conflict and
are
gossip.
you saying Aisha is a bad woman?
Why you are saying such things?
Because
I'm
Aisha she was gossiping about what Muhammad said.
okay, you're just taking it to another place now.
No,
Okay,
we are not. You are the one who
stick,
said
you don't stick with
you
one
are the one
topic.
who
You
mentioned
just
the
go
word
with one.
gossiping. You see, each time you say something, you try to run away from it. So it is you who mentioned those women are doing gossiping. Muhammad did not say gossiping, he says something different. You have a lack of intellect. And the women, there's a woman she
Initial, okay.
listen. There's a woman she asked him, you know, why? What is our lack of intellect? He explained. She said to her, is it the Quran says that two women are equal to one man? So are you
No,
saying now the
first, okay,
Quran is wrong?
read from the beginning. It says you curse others very often, and you are ungrateful for your livelihood.
Okay.
And I have not
Is
seen
the one
anyone.
is the one who
So
curse
he's speaking
others?
to these people.
Is the one who
He's
is the one who curse others is a bad person?
yes, if you curse people and
Okay.
you are ungrateful, then you are doing something
All right.
bad,
So if
right?
I curse
So
if I
because of
curse
that,
if I curse
so
if I curse
no,
people who
let
they
me explain.
okay,
Let
hold
me
on, hold on, hold on.
finish.
No, I'll make it clear.
I want to finish.
If I curse a person, he don't deserve my curse. Am I being a bad person or a good person?
That's the point of the hadith, is telling you that
Yeah.
if you curse, if you are cursing people,
Uh-huh.
right, the women that he is talking about, even in the hadith, is the ones that are ungrateful for their husbands, that curse very often. That those are the ones that
Okay, I ask you again.
calls
If I
are
curse,
in
if I
mind
curse,
the
if I
religion.
curse, if I curse a person, he don't deserve to be cursed. Do that make me
First of all, you
go to hell?
understand what I'm trying to tell you in regards to this hadith?
No, I'm asking you. I'm following with you. I'm just trying to understand Islam
Okay,
from
so
you.
you understand that this
So
hadith
listen,
is
listen.
talking
So
about
now
bad.
if I curse a person and he don't deserve my curse, according to you, if I do that, I will go to hell, correct?
If you do that, then you have, well, you can always do good deeds, like you just mentioned. They gave
So why your prophet he was kissing? Why your prophet he was cursing the Muslims, and he don't deserve his curse? You just said the one who do that is the one who have a lack of listen. It is you who said the one who do curse people who don't deserve. We are talking about remember about why people deserve to go to hell, because they curse, they are ungrateful, and they gossip. You said that, and those people.
So
Okay,
why you are
but
making it
your
sound like
prophet,
every woman goes to hell?
your
Not every
prophet,
woman,
your
only
prophet
the
was
bad women,
cursing.
only the bad
Your
women.
prophet was cursing people who don't deserve cursing. Is that true?
That's not true. Why you are lying?
Read the
Again,
hadith in front of you. Read the
You're
hadith.
just lying
Read
all
the
the
hadith.
time.
Read the hadith in front of you.
What hadith? I don't see. What are
It's on the screen. I put it for you on the screen.
Okay. I don't know what it says.
What do you mean you don't want?
Okay, so no, I read it, but it's saying I heard malediction. Invoke curse.
Okay, what is that? Your prophet is beating people, is insulting people, is even whipping their back, and the excuse is he's a human. So how come when those are human, who they are women, they are cursing as you claim, they will go to hell because they are cursing, and now they have to give their earring and their rings, and this is good deed. I will go and buy shopping from Amazon with it, and that will make them go to heaven. But this your prophet, not only he is insulting and cursing, he is beating people who don't deserve beating. He is whipping their back, and he is claiming that he made a condition between him and Allah, that if he whip your back, if he insult you, curse you, do all this kind of stuff, it's a blessing for you. How come the prophet he can do, and he is the prophet? Those are women. They are not prophet. They are normal people in the street. How come the best of you is a person who is treating the Muslim unjustly, cursing them, beating them, claiming that he put a condition in his God? If he do that, that is a blessing for you. Go ahead.
You just said also that it's a source for a blessing, right?
How come if the woman she curse her husband, that is not a source for a blessing? But if Muhammad he curse your husband unjustly, and he even beat him physically, and he hurt him, he used a suit, you know, the leather belt, and he whipped his back, and he leave mark like hell in his back, that is a blessing for you. Do you like somebody to give you a blessing like that?
You always run away from the Bible. Now,
see, here we go. You see, when we ask about the Bible, now we are in the corner. You go back to zero, like a rat, like a rat. Isn't it the Quran says beat them, beat the women? Listen. If you are a person who have a brain, why the man he can beat you?
It's not supposed to be. It doesn't. You cannot do it very hard.
What do you mean not hard? What do you mean not hard? Explain to me.
I'm telling you that you are not supposed to even
No, what do you
leave
mean
a
it's not supposed? What not
You're
supposed? The
not
Quran
supposed
says
to
beat
leave
them.
a mark.
The
It
Quran says beat them. And now,
leave a
you know,
mark.
let us confirm
The
that
Prophet
Muhammad,
never
so
beat any
Muhammad
of
is a bad person. He will go to hell because you are the one who said the one who cursed people unjustly, he should go to hell. And those women, all what the accusation is, they have a lack of intellect because what? You said, it's your explanation, not mine, because they curse their husband. So your prophet have a lack of intellect because he is cursing people who don't deserve
No,
it.
no.
Okay,
Okay. Now you're
why a
getting
person
into
why a
why
person is not
you're
as
always
stupid? Why a
disrespectful.
person is not as stupid, not mentally ill? He will curse people who did nothing to him. Tell me.
For me, without seeing the explanation for that
I'm
hadith, I'm
showing
not
to
gonna.
you.
I'm not.
Even this one need
No,
explanation.
then
Even
yeah,
this
it
one
needs
need
explanation.
explanation.
I need
What
I need
explanation? I mean,
to
those
know.
Muslims, they need explanation for anything. Okay, so what is your
I
explanation? The Prophet
I need the
explained. Your
context.
Prophet, he
Without the
explained to
context,
you. He did beat people unjustly. He beat them unjustly. He said that. It's not me who's saying that. It is
but
unjust.
he
He cursed
made
them.
dua for
He
them. He
beat
made
them.
dua for
He
them
beat them and
to
he
for it to
cursed them.
be.
And he made a condition in his Lord that anyone I beat him to make it a blessing. So Muhammad is claiming that, okay, you know
So
what?
even
I am messed
yeah.
up. I'm a messed up person. I'm crazy. I insult people don't deserve insult. I beat people don't deserve to be beaten. So, but you know what? I ask Allah to pay you back.
Okay, so you're not going to tell me anything about the Bible because that's
Why I
what
want
I
to waste my
text you.
time with half a brain women? You are saying that to me, you are half a brain. Isn't it the Quran says that you are half
I
witness
never
in the
said I'm
court?
half brain. I
Okay,
never said that. First,
Why the Quran says you are not allowed to be a witness in the court?
why does the Bible say the same thing?
No, it doesn't say anything about
Yeah,
that.
it does say that. It
Okay,
does.
show me the verse, and the Bible says
I
women
will
she cannot
get for
witness in
you.
the court. In the same time, are you saying to me that your Quran, if you are saying to me that in the Bible, are you saying to me your Quran is stupid too?
I never said stupid.
So why
First
you
of all,
cannot be a witness? Why you cannot
I
be a
never
witness
said
in the
it's not.
court? Why you are not allowed to be a witness? Period. Period. You know what period mean?
You need. Okay, so you're just again running away from your own Bible.
No, we are
But
not. You are the one who is trying to explain to me
about
why
the
women they will
witness.
go to hell and you fail. And your prophet explained to us, saying to the Muslim, a Muslim woman, she asked him, well, why? What the problem? Why we are going to go to hell? He said, don't you have a lack of intellect? But the fact, the one who have lack of intellect is Muhammad, who claimed that shaitan, he take hair from the butt of the Muslim when he fart. There's no human being.
Yeah.
There's no
You're
human
just
being have
stating
a little intelligence will say such a thing. That shaitan he take hair from the butt of the Muslim, or shaitan he fart.
that's also a lie. You keep lie. You know what? Like, why do you do this? So there's no point for you
Okay,
to you.
read with me. Here we go.
You don't.
You are saying
You
I'm
don't
lying.
spread
You are saying I'm
any of
lying.
this.
You are saying I am lying. The hate in front of you.
Lies.
Okay. Read it. Read it.
I'm not reading any of
Why you don't read it? You said to me I'm lying, but when I show you the reference, you don't want to read it. What's wrong with you?
Again, like you are lying, like the rest.
How I am lying, but the reference in the front of your eyes get me busted.
What you're showing on the screen also, it's not even
Shaitan, he fart when the Muslim they pray.
Okay, let me explain this one for you. I know what you are.
Yeah, you are expert with farting. Go ahead. Why you are laughing? I mean, your prophet, obviously, he's expert before you. You are learning from your prophet, and you got your expertise from the expert prophet who is very expert about farting. Where Muhammad got the expertise about farting? From his God. Your God have time to teach you about farting of shaitan. Go ahead, explain. Why shaitan is farting? Hello? Are you there? Where'd she go? This is the prophet of God. He cursed people, he beat people, he claimed women they are half a brain, and then the stupid idiot, he cannot make a decision without women.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Okay, read for us the story. Okay.
I already know. Okay, the expression is just meaning that shaitan, when he hears the adhan being pronounced, he flees, he goes away from you. That's what it means. Like it means that he goes, like he flees from
What is the
when you are making prayer.
for some reason you skip the word fart. Why?
No, first it says break wind. Why you keep saying fart?
What
Just to make
what break wind
people,
mean in English?
just to make
What break
to
wind
make
in English mean?
the expression in Arabic. I know the explanation given, and I've read about this.
What is the explanation in Arabic?
It's the explanation given, like I told you, it's an expression to mean that he departs very quickly. Okay, he goes away
so why they are saying he break wind if it is not just if it just depart?
It's expression. Like he just runs away. Like
no, it says he fought. Okay, listen, I have a video. I can play it for you. I can give it to you, and everybody will laugh at you about a sheikh. He's explained this hadith. Even he make the sound of the fart in his mouth. He says, Shaitan, he have a serious gas leak. He fart. So why you are lying when I can put the video in front of you? Huh?
I don't care what video you have. Like
what do you mean you don't care? This is you are the one who said to me you follow the scholars. This guy is a scholar. Okay, you are a female who have a brain according to Islam.
What's his name? Who scholar?
Okay, hold on. Let me find him for you.
No, no, and a real scholar, not just from YouTube or something like that.
Oh, a real scholar, not from YouTube. Really?
Yeah, like, can you show me?
This is the same scholar. He says women they have a sperm coming from their ribs. You never heard of him?
My friend, so you're never gonna talk about the Bible then?
Why you want to talk about?
I just told you.
Listen. People
I just wanted to learn.
People are laughing at you because I spoke about the Bible. I showed you the Quran confirm, and you said confirm some. So you Muslim, you fabricate Quran, you add words is not there. So how I can talk to somebody fabricate even his own book in order to win an argument? And this is the sheikh in front of you. Here we go. I will give you the link. You can watch it. You can play it. And he even put his hand on his mouth to make the sound of farting, but yet you Muslims, you lie and you say, no, it doesn't say that. And he said, he have a serious gas leak. He have a serious gas leak and he fart. You know what fart mean? Fart.
Okay, I know.
Okay. So why your sheikh says he fart, and then you say, no, it doesn't mean fart. And you don't know Arabic.
Listen, what if you play all the way? I think I know this. I know him. I think he's a good person.
Wonderful,
actually.
Guys. She just said he is a wonderful man. That's wonderful.
No. If you play the whole thing, he's going to say what I just told you. I
know. I will give you the video. You play it. You watch it. You call me back.
Okay,
what do you think? Okay, let me give you the link. I will post the link for everybody. All right. So everybody.
So you're not okay. Post the link and I'll watch. But you're never going to prove your Bible for me.
I prove my Bible for you. You said to me, you gave me false interpretation from the Quran, saying some of it when the Quran never mentioned the word. Some. And same time, okay. when a Muslim.
So this is no
point. Hold on. No. You see, when you say to me, my Bible is corrupt, you just agreed that Allah, his book, is corrupt because the Bible is the Bible of Allah. And that is additional reason not to believe in Allah. Because if Allah is God, he sent the Bible and then he could not protect his Bible. So what is my problem? That means your God cannot be God. So the God who sent the book, I have 4 books and they are in Amazon. Everybody can go, but I challenge you to corrupt them. You cannot. I have copyright over them. Can't Allah, he sent 124,000 messengers with 124,000 book, and yet he could not save one book. So when you say to me, the book, which is my book supposedly, corrupted, you are lying to yourself. This is not my book. According to you, this is the book of Allah. So Allah is a stupid God. Listen, Allah is a stupid God. He sent the Torah. He sent the gospel. He sent the book of Psalm.
Why you say this? Okay, why you are cursing all the time?
I'm not cursing. Is the word stupid is curse? You're a prophet. He beat people. You said it's a blessing. Your prophet, he beat people. You said it's a blessing. Your prophet, he cursed. I did not curse you. Why you are lying? I said it's stupid. I did not curse.
Okay,
you are a liar. You are a certified liar like your prophet. And now watch the video. And let everybody. Here we go. I will post the link. Everybody goes, guys, go and see how Shaitan fought. Not only that, he said that Shaitan, he go in the bathroom. Listen. This guy, he said that Shaitan, when you go in the bathroom, the Prophet said, when you go in the bathroom, Shaitan, he go and play with the anus of the Muslims. He play with your bows.
Okay, just disrespectful
No,
things.
no,
You
no.
never
This is what your
quote the
prophet. This is
Bible
what your
for me.
prophet's
That's
saying. You see, guys, the hypocrisy.
okay.
I'm
It's
quoting
okay.
what
It's
their
okay.
prophet's saying, and I'm quoting what the sheikh said, and she's saying to me, you are being disrespectful. This is what your sheikh said. He play with your bows. This is his words, word by word, not my words. So you just say this is disrespectful. I agree. Your God, Allah, He sent an idiot. His name is Muhammad,
Okay. I
and
have
now
to
He
go.
is claiming that Shaitan He
Nah.
play with your
You know,
bum.
you're just saying bad things. You're not gonna prove the Bible
I'm
for
not.
me.
I do not need to prove my
You're never
Bible.
gonna prove the Bible
My
for
friend,
me.
I do not need to prove my Bible to someone consider herself half a brain. Why I want to waste my time? You are adding words to the Quran to duct tape what your prophet said. You are trying to escape what Muhammad said. I said Muhammad said fart. You said no, it doesn't say fart. I say Muhammad he cursed. I said women they will go to hell. You said no, they are cursing not because they are stupid. When the hadith says they have a lack of intellect, and then we show you that Muhammad himself is cursing
You
and
don't
beating
want to
people
prove the Bible.
unjustly, and then you duct tape and you say, oh, it's
Prove the
okay. He's a
Bible.
prophet of God. I thought the prophet of
the
God is the best of us. The prophet of God should be the best of us. She hang up. Coward. No, it doesn't say that. You are lying. You are lying. It doesn't say that, you know. And Shaitan, he will play with your bows. You go inside the bathroom, you think you are going to stay there for, like the word durat. And then he put his hand over his mouth and he fart. You see how they lie? And why the women, she is not allowed to be a witness in the court? Only to women and only in the case of borrowing money. To women. One woman, she is not allowed, period. Not in the case of murder. A woman, she cannot be a witness according to Islam in a case of murder. Nothing. Only in the case of borrowing money. And they have to be two women. And when we show them the Quran confirming what our book, we do not need your stupid Quran to confirm our book. We are showing you how hypocrite you are. And when the Muslim they say we have three gods, we ask them where it says that. Where in the Bible it says we have three gods? Where? You are a liar like your prophet. The Bible from the beginning to the end says we believe in one God. One God. We don't believe in three gods. Even your stupid Quran says we believe in one God. The Quran says don't say Trinity and become one, which means the Trinity is one God. Intahu. Stupid people. And Allah wanted to prove to us that Jesus is not God. How? He can destroy him and his mother. Why? Because the stupid Muhammad, he think that the Christian, they believe that Mary is God. According to Muhammad understanding, the Christian, they have a God, he have sex with Mary, they have a son, his name is Jesus. Even the name is wrong. Isa. Who's Isa? So they go around, they lie to their kids, they say the Christian believe in three gods. We are the one who is monotheist, not you, black stone kisser. They love to lie. And they have to add words to their Quran, to duct tape the Quran. You see, either this book is made by God and it's perfect, and then we do not need to add words. Like the Quran says that Alexander the Great, Zulqarnain, he found the sun set in murky water. What the Muslim they do? No. He didn't say he found it. He says as if it is. As. Well, where it says as. Where is the word as if? It says he found it. And the one is talking is Allah. Until when he reached the sitting place of the sun, he found it sitting in a spring of muddy, boring water. Where is as if? They are the one who corrupt their Quran. Not only the goat ate it, not only they took the satanic verses off, even the Quran says Allah will take off the satanic verses. How we know that this is not even from Shaitan? If Allah himself agree that shaitan, he put satanic verses and Allah will take it off, how we can trust that that same verse saying Allah will take it off is not from shaitan? They are asking you about Zulqarnain. I will tell you some about him. Who is talking? Allah. This is not the guy. He said, I found it sitting. You know, I thought. And the funny, they say the Quran Arabic is amazing, but the second we ask them a question about what it says exactly, they had to add words. It doesn't say that. It doesn't mean that. What the heck? It doesn't say that, CP. Not to forget to mention how stupid the whole chapter here, chapter 18, is one of the most funny, stupid chapters ever you can imagine. Muhammad, they came and they asked him about a messenger of God. His name is Zulqarnain. Muhammad is a stupid as usual. If you remember chapter 9, verse number 61, it says, Huwa udhunun. He is an ear. Anything you say to him, he believe. So they told him he's a prophet. The Jews are making fun of him. But the Jews didn't know that Zulqarnain is not a prophet. This guy is a you know, war warrior. He killed everybody. How that make him a prophet? He's a pagan. Muhammad, he had him in the Quran. He liked the idea. Oh, he's a prophet. Okay. So he said, okay, they are asking you about Zulqarnain. I will tell you. Who's talking to Allah? Verily we established for him in earth. So according to the Quran, Allah is the one who sends Zulqarnain. Is another great. And we gave him all means of everything. So he fought away. Wonderful. Like a story like kids. Until he reached the sitting place of the sun. Where is that? Where is the sitting place of the sun? If there's a place, the sun, where the sun set, yes. He found it sitting in a spring of a black, muddy, hot water. What the Muslim they do to explain it? No, no, no. When you see the sun, it looks like it's going in the ocean. But Abdul, it says a spring. Spring. Do you know the difference between a spring and the ocean? Have you ever heard of a sun going in a spring? It's a spring. So they add the word ocean. You ask Zakir Naik, Zakir Naik will say to you, brother and sister, the Quran in chapter 18, verse number 86, it doesn't say that the sun set in water. In fact, the Zulqarnain, he wanted to, you know, when you go to the White beach, you see the sun in the sunset, it looked like it's going to the ocean. Like, what the heck? What going to the beach? And what beach? It says a spring of water. He found it, not he thought. There's a huge difference between he thought and he found it. Here is Allah reporting the found, the find. Where he found it, not in the ocean sitting, no. He found it sitting in a spring of a black, muddy, hot, boiling water. And now this lady, I'm sure she finished watching the video about farting. All of it is few minutes, but she's ashamed. She discovered that her prophet is a bad man. He beat Muslims. He cursed them. And she is the one who said, yeah, you go to hell if you curse people who don't deserve. Have you ever heard of somebody cursing people who don't deserve and that will be blessing for you? And he's a prophet of God and he made a condition in his God. What is that? So I go and beat people in the street and that will give them blessing? And women, they have a brain. Oh, those are only few women. Oh, he says, oh, yeah, ma'ashar nisa, all women. And you can open any interpretation for the hadith. All of them, they agree. This is all for women. This is why the Muhammad, he says, this is why in the Quran it says that the one woman, two women equal to one man. A woman, she asked him, what is our lack of intellect? If he is talking only for a group, only few women, which is very weird because how all those women are stupid. All of them are bad. All. But anyway, Muhammad is expert with farting, sneezing. He knows everything about those things. And the second the women they start giving their bracelet and rings, they will go to heaven. He said, yeah, you know, when you do good deeds, okay, do good deed, give Muhammad money. This is good deed, you bribe God. He did not say repent. He said give alms. So now if I give alms, I'm going to go to heaven. I stay as I am. And Muhammad, he used a rule in the Quran that all women are the same. She lied, she said only those group, but the hadith says it clearly. Isn't it the Quran says that the witness, two women are equal to one? She asked him, what is the lack of our wisdom? He replied, isn't it the evidence in the Quran, that two women are equal to one man? The Quran verse is about only those women or all Muslim women. So your lies is stupid, and you help us to expose your prophet more. And not only that, they ask him, what is the effect of our religion? He said, don't you have menstruation? This is their fault. And you don't observe Salah when you are having menstruation, but you are the one who forbid them from praying. And now this is the same reason we'll go to hell? Because they cannot pray when they have their menstruation? Have you ever heard of such a religion? You will go to hell because you have menstruation. Why? Because the Quran forbid them, or Muhammad forbid them from praying when they have menstruation. What is the lacking in our religion and wisdom, Prophet of Allah? He said the lack of your intelligence is proven in the Quran, the evidence in the Quran. Testimony of two women are equal to one. You have a lack of intellect. And this is for all women. And this silly believer trying to fight back, saying, no, this is not all women, this is a group of women, when he is using the Quran, which is a rule for all Muslim women, including her. I asked her, why you cannot be a witness according to Quran? She refused to answer. The Quran tells us why. Because women are stupid, they have half a brain according to him. But in fact, if we go and you do a little bit of study, scientific study, real scientific study, you will see women, they are way better than men in details. If a man, he go with his wife to a wedding party, and they come back, you ask the husband what he ate, he don't remember. What the guy, the groom was wearing, he don't remember. What the bride was wearing, he don't remember. He don't remember anything. He don't even remember what he was wearing. 2 days after the wedding, you ask the women, she will tell you even their shoes color, even their earring, even the bracelet. I mean, she will give you details you cannot imagine. So how the woman, she is stupid and she have a lack of intellect, and because if one of them forgot, the other one, she will remind her, you know. The other one will remind her. Are you sure? Muhammad, he forget Quran. Who remind you? Quran. Not what he was wearing. This is Quran. She lied. She said this is only for those women. If there is no men in the case of borrowing money only, Otherwise, women, they cannot be witness. Remember that. If there's not enough men, even 2 women are not enough. No. You have to have at least, in the case of borrowing money, at least 1 man. If only the witnesses, all of them, they are women, even if they are 1 billion women, they are not accepted. One man at least, and 2 women in only in the case of borrowing money. And why the Quran says, so if one of them tadul, you see, the Muslims translate tadul as errs. That's false. That's false. Tadul is coming from dalla, deceived. The other one can remind her. But look how stupid this statement. Think with me, guys. If women are stupid, so it doesn't matter really how many women to have. So if the first one is going to cause error, well, the second one will have error too. Having many of them, they have the same quality of intelligence will not change the fact that they will err. Are you following with me? Guys, do you understand what I'm saying? So if you are saying women are stupid, are you saying to me 2 stupid can confirm? They are stupid. So what's the point of making them 2 or even 3 or even 4 or even 5 or even 1,000? If the first one is stupid, then what is the guarantee that the second one wants to be stupid too? And this is telling you that the one who made this verse is a stupid idiot. It's like those women, they are having problem in the intellect, and now we make them 2, but they are 2 half brain, so nothing changed. And this poor woman, she thinks she can jump from place to place. Can you explain to me the Bible? Why you want to explain to you the Bible? What is that? You know, it's like saying, excuse me, ladies, I don't mean you. It's saying like, one donkey is not enough to prove the case. We need 2 donkeys. Okay, why the 1 donkey is not enough? Because it's a donkey. But now we have 2 donkeys. Nothing changed. Do you see the stupidity? This is from God. And then if a woman, she have menstruation and that is a reason to go to heaven, to hell, well, is it her fault to have menstruation? And how that will affect her belief? Is your God in your private part? So when you bleed, Allah come with it, He's gone? Your faith is gone? Actually, Muhammad, he said that when a woman, she have menstruation during the prayer, it's from shaitan. What the heck? How? They blame the Jews for everything. And in the best scenario, they blame shaitan for everything. Let me show you the reference of that. Oh, Lord have mercy. Actually, there's a hadith. Just to show you how low class this cult is. Imagine if Aisha, she was exist today and she have a YouTube page or Facebook or Twitter and she have 1 billion subscriber. And then she say that the wife of the Prophet, when she was praying, a yellowish discharge came from her and they put a dish between their legs under their vagina. What the heck is that? So Aisha now, she have a lack of, I thought it is forbidden if she have a menstruation to pray. She is next to Muhammad and they are dripping from their vagina. Point, 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 yellowish discharge. Infection. And then what they do? They put a dish, and the Muslim, they say the Prophet, he used to have only one dish in the house of Aisha. So this is the same dish they eat from, and the same dish she put it under her vagina. And now Aisha, she will take a picture, she will post it in YouTube or in Facebook. You know, look what we do. And now everybody in the world knows what the wives of the Prophet, they do when they are. Anyone knows, according to Islam, why women they have menstruation? Anyone knows? A Muslim saying to me, why your IQ is so low? I don't know, my friend. My IQ is so low. Is your IQ is high? Open the camera and show us how you do put the dish under your vagina. Go ahead. What about you ask your wife to go to Facebook and post that today she was bleeding and she put a dish under her vagina, and they want to see the response of all the Muslims, the believers. Your family, how would they respect you? You're talking about low IQ? Do it if you are a man. If you are proud and you find that there's no shame of what Aisha is doing and saying, I challenge you to go and post that your wife in Facebook post, don't post pictures, no problem. Just she post, I was praying next to my husband Ahmed and I saw a drops of yellowish blood coming from my and I put a dish. Just do it. I want to see what the and give the link to Ali Dawah. Ali Dawah, he made a video. A woman, she said she don't mind to share her husband with her friends. Ali Dawah, he said to her, stop, sister, stop. You know, she should say, I share myself with Ali Dawah. Then he will not say stop. Can you believe it? How low, how trashy this cult is. Look, look. Hijabi share her husband with the friends. And Ali Dawah is blinking like wink, 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 wink. What the heck is that? 205,000. I mean, this guy, he, by the way, they do those videos in purpose because that will attract a lot of viewers. This woman, she want to share her, man, I wish I have a wife like this. She will bring me more women. And now supposedly she is a good woman, brother. She want to share her husband with her friends. What's wrong with that? Honestly, seriously, what's wrong with that? Very open sexual religion. She want to share her husband with her friends. What the problem? No problem. This is Islam. And they claim that Islam is a conservative religion. Look. Sister, stop. Stop. My friends share my husband. And look, she is wearing the hijab and she is wearing a hat, but tons of makeup in her face. Very conservative people. Brothers and sisters, our sister here, she said she want to share her husband with her friends. Brothers and sisters, please stop. Stop saying that in public. But isn't this what Islam says? Is it against Islam to do so? It's not. And this is why pimps like Andrew Tate, he like Islam. Islam attract criminals, drug dealers, violent people, pimps. There's no way a person who is good, he have little dignity, he will like Islam. Imagine you get married and your wife, she go on live on air and she say, I like to share my husband with my friends. So why you are claiming that you have religion? But this is the truth. This is what he don't want her to say it in public. He agree with her that it's okay, she can do that, yes, but should not speak like this in public. Then people will know Islam is a scam. Stop, sister. What happened to this girl? She hang up and she turned off her Skype. You're insulting, okay? What the heck insulting? They call us pigs, monkeys, dogs. And the second we say this is stupid, they say you're insulting. Not only that, she said you are cursing. The word stupid is cursing. If the one is saying that is the prophet, she will say this is a blessing. Anyway, sadly, not even one Muslim call us to tell us how Muhammad is the last prophet. And this is what they do, by the way. You see, if this woman, she called different Christian, she can get away with the topic, right? She will change it to be about the Bible. We will not let her do that to us, because this is the whole point. They are trying to avoid exposing Muhammad. So let us talk about why I want to waste my time. I'm here to expose your prophet. And she is calling me to change the topic. So I would like to see Christians learning how to debate Muslims. Muslims, they would love, they will do their best to change the topic in the speed of light. I go with her, but I stay in the same topic, exposing Islam. Don't let her escape. They would love to do it. And there's many Christians do not know really how to deal with Muslims. Yes, they cannot stand the truth that Santa Claus is real and Muhammad and Allah is not. No? Muhammad is a fraud, obviously. So, and this is what we do here actually, just to teach you. Otherwise, I'm sick of this topic, honestly. Like I took 2 days, because I'm really sick of it. I mean, the last video, what we did last video? Fart. We spent an hour and something about talking about farting. And if we play it again, people would die laughing, by the way. How many of you did watch the video? How many of you did download it too? You should download this video. I mean, this is Fart 101. This is Fart all the way. Imagine how low, honestly, how low you have to go when you speak about Islam. Anus, farting, penis, vagina, cursing, filth, and then they claim what? That they have God. This is what they say to us. They have God. We believe in one God. As if we care if you believe in 1 or 20. Who care? Your God is a stupid God. Cannot be true. And the Muslim he called to explain to me and to get me busted. Wonderful. So when you recite Quran, the shaitan he leave, correct? If he is inside him.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any proof of that?
Do I have a reference for you right now? No, but I can get one.
Well, I have the reference says the opposite. That's why you refuse to read about your prophet. You're a prophet, he was possessed. You're a prophet, he was possessed. And then Allah has to send.
Show me, where does that say?
Here we go. Here we go. Read with me. All right, here we go. Hold on. This is your prophet. You know,
Are you pulling up on your screen?
Yeah, it's on my screen now.
I can't see it. I still see the other one.
Okay, it's going to come to you.
Okay. You just gotta, and now you're just avoiding. Can you just
no. We are in the topic, my friend. We are in the topic. Don't cry. It's okay. Take it easy. Okay. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it now. Is it the one that's where it says the prophet continued?
Right.
Okay, can you scroll down a bit because I can't see the full text?
All right. Tell me to stop when you want me to stop.
It's not. I'm a bit behind. It's not moving yet.
Okay.
The prophet continued for such a period.
I will post the link for you in the chat if you want, and you can just click in it and open it and read it from your side. This way you can see the whole thing, not just part of it. What do you think? I think this is better, right? Let us do it. So I will click and I will post in the chat.
First of all, this hadith is talking about black magic.
Yeah, this was black magic. Possessed. Yeah, possessed by shaitan.
No, it's not possessed. It's someone done magic on that.
So what black magic is? So black magic is not from shaitan?
No, it is from shaitan, but magic is not possession.
So what is it?
There's two different
things. What is this? What is it?
You don't. Black magic and possession is different.
What is it? What is it? No. You see, this is only naive one. Only naive one will say that. Black magic is black magic. Hello. So guys, black magic is not possessed by the devil. Okay, so what it is? They don't even know what they are talking about. And now we have confirmed that Muhammad is controlled by the devil. He just admitted that black magic is from shaitan. In fact, black magic not only from shaitan, Allah himself, he opened a Harry Potter school to teach shaitan. Do you know, guys? Allah, he sent 2 angels. Their name is Harut and Marut. And those are coming from Armenian legions. And the 2 angels sent down to earth, and then they met with women. Her name is Venus. In Arabic, it's called Az-Zahra. And Az-Zahra, she offered herself to them if they want to sleep with her because she is so sexy and you know it. Venus. If they gave the password to go to heaven. The story is long. We mentioned it before. You can watch previous videos and you can see it. But in the Quran, it doesn't mention all the details. It's mentioned that Allah, he sent down in the Babylon tower, which makes sense. I mean, angels will land where? You have to have an airport at that time. So Allah, he look where I will send them down, where I will send them down. Okay, the Babylon tower. So, the angels who came down at the Babylon, 2 angels, Harut and Marut, and neither of those 2 angels taught anyone such a thing, which is black magic, till they had say, we are only trial, so disbelieve not. Okay, disclaimer, like you join Harry Potter school, you sign a disclaimer that if you want to learn black magic, please don't disbelieve. Okay, who want to join the school, kids? Harut and Marut, they have open free class to teach you black magic. I mean, this is a book of God. Or this is a Mickey Mouse cartoon. Harut and Marut. And by the way, the Muslim, they have a drawing for them. Let me find you the picture of Harut and Marut. Hold on, give me a second. Look how cute they are. Unbelievable. So lovely. You see Harut and Marut, brother? Aman Rabbi Aman. And this is the Babylon Tower, brother. Look, it says here. Angels Harut and Marut, the city of Babylon, origin of magic, takbir. Sound of a horse, sound like, yeah. What the heck is that, man? This must be true from God. Really? They came down in Harut and Marut? And then Allah, He sent them down, He tied them down, and He sent them with the rope. What the heck? What the heck is that? They are teaching magic. Look at the student. Magic, you know? Magic. Look at the magic. What is that? What is that? That's deep. Harut and Marut. Shankabut, Takakut, Takakakut. Oh boy. Look, Harut and Marut are cooking magic. I want to get the recipe. I don't know. They look like my cousins. I don't know. Sound like him. Harut and Marut. And then they saw Venus. Venus, she was so beautiful. And Venus, she said, if you want me to take off the panty, you have to do some stuff for me. Ooh. And Harut and Marut, they got so horny. And you know the thing. If you don't know the thing, just ask Joe Biden. He know all things. Except the questions, the answer for your questions. Yeah. Harut and Marut. And look at those ancient drawing for Muslim stories, you know. Yeah. Harut and Marut, brother. And you know, I noticed that I just type Harut and Marut in English, and I notice how much imagination the Muslims they have. Look at this. What the heck is this? Harut and Marut. Ooh. من جنال هاروت dan Marut dalam. I think this is Indonesian, right? My Indonesian sometimes is not good because what happened the other day. I ate too much falafel, and I lost some of my Indonesian language. But I remember still the most important stuff like orang, you know, suku, kalam, you know, yeah. So like, still I speak very good. Like you can say 99.9 of my Indonesian language is still there. Only 1% is gone. Just one. Kisha, Malakat, Harut. Is that Indonesian? Kisha, what the heck is that? What happened to Harut and Marut? He became like a Sikh from India. Those or a Hindu. Kisha, Malakat, Harut, dan Marut, Magajarakan, Ilmu, Sihiri, Dimuka Boomi. Oh, Boomi, here we go. Booma. You know, this is a very famous brand for you know, shoes, etc. Yeah, Boomi, you know, okay. So so he, you know, here it says here, let me translate for you what it says, because most of you are ignorant, you do not know languages like me. So Kisha Malakat, which means the angel Harut, Dan Marut and Marut. Dan mean end. Okay, just take a note. I just taught you something you never learned before. Hey Indonesian, if you are learning from me your language, please let me know. I appreciate your support because you are learning. I know most of you, especially those who, you know, many Indonesian, by the way, they migrate. So they go like from Jakarta to Jakarta, the other, you know, Jakarta. So like, you know, you find it because when you move from the other side of Jakarta to the other side, they have different language. They speak like the Jakartan in the east, they speak different Jakartan from the one in the east and the west. So like the two Jakartan, like they are different Jakarta, you know. So yeah, it's the same Jakarta city, but they are different Jakartan, you know. So this is why we need to remind them and teach them their language. So anyway, so here, Kisha, you know, like Kisha, you know, this is coming from Kimchi, I think. I like to study the origin of the language, you know, like, you know, Kisha. Is that the Geisha, like the Japanese prostitute? It says here Kisha, I'm not sure. Hold on, let me do it. I think about it carefully. Kisha Malikat, Harut dan Marut. Things getting, what the heck is that? Harut and Marut, they look like this now. Look, those Muslims, I'm telling you, Muslims, they have a lot of imagination. Look what happened to Harut and Marut. What the heck? Those are Harut and Marut too? And this one is Harut and Marut. And this one is Harut and Marut. That's deep. What the heck is that? This is Harut and Marut. Oh boy. Look, even this one is Harut and Marut. What the heck is that? We are getting too far, my friend. What, Muslims, where are you going? Oh boy. I'm getting a little bit nervous now. Now I know why they say, like, you know, they add S at the end, like nervous, you know? Like the shaitan, before he pray, the Muslim pray, he is fartless. But the second you pray, he fart yes. So there's a difference between how you use the word yes, you know? So fartless, fart yes. Nervous. Yeah, I just learned that, you know. I mean, you have to be a philosopher to think about those things like this. Yeah, Harut and Marut, they met with Venus, and what? This is a sheikh is talking about Harut and Marut. I mean, there's tons of pictures, man. The Muslims, they have a lot of imagination. Man. Okay. Look at this guy. Look, I think this guy is Harut himself. He looks sad. He looks like being cooked by a pressure cook. He looks like he is freezing in Alaska. I mean, what happened to you? Look, do you see how he's sitting? This is the guy who will teach you. Unbelievable. Mr. Spawn Finity, speaking about racist. You know, my friend, are you against racism? Did your prophet, he said that Allah created the white people from the right shoulder of Adam? And he told them, you go to heaven and I don't care? And he created the black people from the left shoulder of Adam, and he said to them, you go to hell and I don't care? A Muslim talking about racism? Isn't it, you Muslim, you have a sign that says no go zone for non-Muslims because non-Muslims are najis, filthy? And you are talking about racism, brother? Look who's talking about racism. Huh? Do you agree that Allah created the black people from the left shoulder, brother? Who is the racist? See, the Muslims, they try to take their poo-poo and throw it at you. Do you want me to show you the hadith of your God hitting the shoulder of Adam? Huh? Do you want to see it? And then you will say to me, what? And this is Sahih Hadith. Why you don't call me and let us talk about racism? Because as I know, Islam, all of it is racism. Isn't it? Ah. And the funny, by the way, the hadith is Sahih. Look, look, look. In Arabic here it says, and the Muslim, they try to hide the Arabic part. It says Sahih. Sahih. You want to call me and read it? Huh? And this is why I find it very embarrassing. You know, those black people who say Islam is a good religion, because they're ignorant, they do not know what Islam. Islam is the most racist cult ever. Anti-black. Islam is, I mean, nobody can go beyond the racism of Muhammad. Are you there, brother? Or you will go now, you will go dead. And here in front of you it says Sahih. You see it? The grade is Sahih. What say you, brother? Are you going to go dead now? You will go dead. Yeah, he's a Muslim. How I'm going to be racist if people who come here and listen to me and support me, they are coming from around the world, you stupid idiot. How I can be a racist and I am a Christian? Isn't it the Bible says, for God loved the world? The word. He sent his only begotten son. Did the Bible says he loved the black or the white or the Asian? No. Love the word. It's you who your book says only white people will go to heaven. In the hadith, in the Quran, it's all over. Prove me wrong. Even in the day of judgment, Allah will divide the people into two colors. One is white and one is black. All non-Muslims, Allah will make them black. Is that correct? Or I'm making things up? If I'm making things up, call me. Get me busted. I mean, your sister, she is a woman, but she is more brave than you Muslims. At least she called me. It's true that she have a big failure and she get her prophet busted horribly, but at least she tried. If the book says that, it is what it is. That's wonderful. So black people, did you see? Our friend here, now suddenly he have no problem with saying that the black people are not good people. They will go to hell just because they are black. He have no problem with it. If the book says that, it is what it is. No, my friend, it's not it is what it is. We are here to expose your false racist Muhammad. And we are going to send him to hell. Black people, they are not going to go to hell. Who said so? There is bad and good everywhere. There is wonderful Asian, there is bad Asian. There is wonderful white people, there is bad white people. There is wonderful black people, and there is bad black people. Only filthy, satanic teaching will teach you that just because a person have a color, It doesn't matter what color is. That will decide where he will go. And this is why Africans specifically, they should be #1 anti-Islam. But sadly, because they are ignorant, they do not know how filthy this cult is. With the Messiah, the Bible says there's no Greek, there's no Hebrew, there's no free, there's no slave. No free, no slave. For all is one in Jesus' name. Amen to that. Is that correct, guys? This is what the Bible teaches us. So, to be Christian, let us say you are a Christian man and you are white, but you don't like white people. You are not being Christian. You are far away from Christianity. Or you are a black man and you don't like white people because, oh, there's bad history. That is not what Christ teaches you. Slavery happened in history. Man do ugly stuff. Even African, they enslave African. White enslave white. White enslave black. Black enslave white. Black enslave black. Nobody is clean out of this slavery. All races are involved in it. Only those who want us to hate each other, they want to divide us, who they are satanic, they try to feed your hatred. So you have to be smart. Isn't it the Egyptian? They enslave the Israeli. Okay, the Egyptian are African. They took the whole nation of Israel. Who is the one who was capturing black African in Africa? The white Arab, the Muslims. They go and they capture them and they sell them to the European. This is the truth. North Africa is #1. The only business they do is to sell slaves. Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, especially Morocco. Why people don't remember, or they remember only what they like? Yeah, and the Muslims, yeah, here a rake soldier of God is posting a hadith, which is a good example of how much those Muslims, they worship the Arab man who is white. You see, did any one of you saw one place in the Bible says what was the color of the face of Jesus? People, have you ever saw one phrase in the Bible describing if Jesus was white or even how he looked like? Nowhere. Do you know why? Those people, they are even talking about how white under his arm. Proud of it. I mean, it's not only stupid and silly, but this is how racist they are. Nowhere in the Bible mention how Jesus looked like, what is his color, how his hair, how his skin, how his... Nowhere, because this is the last thing for us as a Christian to consider. What if Jesus was born in Africa and Mary, she was African woman? He's still our Lord. What if he's born in Vietnam or Indonesia or Korea? Nothing changed. He came in Israel because simply those are the ones waiting for the Messiah. If you go in Matthew chapter 5, when the Messiah told them about going, don't go now for like Gentile, go only for the Israeli, because those are the ones waiting for him. If you go to the different nation, they will not know who is the Messiah. What Messiah? Those are the ones waiting for him. There's tons of a prophecy about him coming. That's why he came to the Jews first. But he did not come for a race. That's why the Messiah was given from the Father the judgment over all the flesh, not only the Israeli. Actually, if you read the Bible carefully, you will find the Israeli, they are horribly punished many times by God. Yes, God, he blessed them many times, but he punished them many times. And they will be punished many times too. And any nation, they stay away from God, God will let them by their own. By their own. Like now, Europe, staying away from God, they unleash all the devil power on them. All kind of evil, they are swarming. War will take you. Death will take you. Disease will hunt you. You're alone. And people don't want to learn. You stay away from God, you have no idea what you will have. And you will pay. Look at the Muslims. Look how they live. Look at their countries. No safety, no security, no peace, no human right, no freedom of speech, nothing. I mean, what make a human being alive if he lost all those things? Nothing. Even the food, you can't choose your food to eat. Even the clothes you have to wear, they have to tell you what to wear. There's a guy, him and his fiancée, they dance in the street in Iran. Do you know what the sentence is? 10 years in jail. Can you believe it? You can do prostitution, you can do muta. They are engaged, and even if they are not engaged, 10 years in jail. And what they did, they dance in the street. They are not like, you know, what the heck with this religion? How sick. I mean, this country, everything about it is wrong. "10 years, not 10 months." And what the accusation? They are promoting prostitution. But doing muta is legal in Iran, which means a woman, she get paid for sex. You have no life. And the funny, they say Islam came as a mercy for mankind. They are getting married and they are not having sex in the street. And you might agree with them, or like, you know, he's holding her, he's, you know, but how in the world that is a crime? No, 10 years, not 10, 20 years. This is what the news says. I'm not from there. It says 10 years sentence for couple for dancing in public. And I saw the accusation. The accusation, they are promoting prostitution. How that is a prostitution? This is Islam, my friend. I mean, the country, they don't have water, by the way. This is Iran, who have a lot of gas. Can you believe it that the people, they cannot even have gas at home? They don't even have a propane. They don't even have water. And their Islamic government is busy watching you. You are dancing with who? I agree. Nobody should dance. Everybody should be crying. All the money of Iran is sent abroad to Hezbollah and the Shia fighters. And Iran is suffering horribly. How a country is a major supplier for gas, they don't have gas. If you see the lines on the gas stations in Iran, you won't believe it. There's no gas. Look. There's no gas. This is gas stations. It's like you are going to like people running away from. No, this is just a gas station. Hundreds of cars lining up. There's no gas. What about water? There's no water, even to wash your dishes. So what they have? Okay, can we dance? No, you cannot dance. What we can do? Nothing. So what kind of life Islam provide to mankind? And the Muslim, they say, Prophet of Allah came as a mercy for mankind. Do you see the mercy? Islam is a curse on mankind. Have nothing to do with mercy. Do you know they made a documentary, a journalist from Iran. She made a documentary about how women and men, they are selling their body parts in Iran so they can live. They sell their kidneys. Imagine a human being, he sell his kidney so he can feed his children. This is what's happening in Iran. Iran is one of the biggest importers for kidney. They put signs in the street. We buy your kidney. Can you believe it? And then people, they answer in the street. This is officially a mafia business. So they give the guy $500 for his kidney, and then they say it for, God knows, maybe 300,000, 500,000 overseas for the rich ones. And people come, and well, you know, people are dying. Yeah, well, you know, life is full of. This is why, you know, Islam is not a solution. Islam is a destruction. Like yesterday, a suicide bomber in Pakistan. Against who? Police mosque. How many people died? Almost 100 people. Let's see the news, the update. What kind of a country? What kind of religion this religion is? Look, it says 100. I was right. The number became 100. 100. What's wrong with this religion? How in the world anyone enjoy killing their own citizen? Those are Muslims. You see how evil this guy, not only they kill Christians, Hindus, but even their own. Because Islam always justify killing, murdering. So how in the world anyone will accept such a garbage. So my friends, with the Messiah you live in peace, even if you are living in war. You see, a person who have a belief in Christ, he have faith in Christ, even if he is in the middle of the war, even if bombs are coming around him, even if he's going to get killed a minute after, he die and he live in peace. And nobody can take that from you. That's why Jesus said, don't worry about those who destroy the body. Worry about those who destroy the spirit. We have God. They have demons. They are dreaming to kill. That's why whenever I find Muslims are enjoying their life, you know, when the Lord he says, peace I leave with you. He made a clear promise about peace. I leave it with you. I hope we have a good time today, and I hope we learn something good. Don't forget to download the video, share it with your friends, and if you speak other languages, I will be happy if you add subtitles so people other countries can learn and educate themselves. And if you are a person who is willing to translate my books, especially if you speak Japanese or books we did not translate yet, I would be happy to see volunteers. They are willing to translate my book or any of my books into languages we don't have yet. Just contact me so we can give the book to people around the world and people will learn. I pray to the Lord to keep you all in good health and wealth. And as you see, Islam always doomed. Muslims cannot defend their religion. What they do, they try to attack your belief, but even that they fail, for they have nothing to stand on. The Lord, he spoke about those who build their house on sand. I say to the Muslim, you don't even have the sand. You don't even have a house. Even the house which is in Mecca is a proof that it is not the house of God. It is a flooded, it is doomed, it's destroyed tons of time. And your God could not provide it security and safety, even to stop a flooding from taking it and sewage from covering it. Thank you all for being here. May the Lord bless you, and until we see you soon again. This is your brother Christian Prince, who is serving you humbly for today. And don't forget to leave a comment, share, make a comment about something you heard, learned, she said, he said. And for sure, we appreciate those who support us by giving a like, posting the link in Facebook, Twitter, anywhere, because you never know. By you posting, you might get a blessing of the Lord for saving, changing the life of somebody. Somebody may be thinking to convert to Islam. He see your video, he will see how disgusting this religion is. So just do it. Doesn't cost you money. We are not asking you for money. Don't do anything have to do with money. Just post link, post a comment, share, and be Christian. God bless you.
But I mean, again,